it's just missing a Simpsons PFP is what that's missing.
Yeah.
It would be a great irony Leftroid account where it's just
Normie
Mailer.
Well, I don't know. They it's funny because like they're very skittish on the new journalism thing because Norman Mailer was like notorious woman disrespecter, and he stabbed his wife, and
the anti-Gio.
Yeah, like it's just I was actually talking about this today with Kino Corner about Vincent Gallo, how I've always like gravitated towards people that, by all definition is the opposite of my personality. Like Vincent Gallo being this like brooding, complicated, standoffish, OCD asshole. And it's like, every character he's ever been in, if you look at, from right up from Buffalo 66 all the way down to Tetro and Stranded, the Spanish sci-fi film he did, right to like, Essential Killing, he has no dialogue, so it's different. But like all his film au revoir is the same. The complicated, brooding, asshole-ish, like I don't know. I love it. It's just because I'm not that way, even like I said this to my girlfriend and she's like, you're not that way. You're like a wholesome teddy bear. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be. I want to be Vincent Gallo. Okay. I want to be Norman Mailer. Maybe I don't want to like do the same things Norman Mailer did, but I wanted that aura and that mystique, of the very complicated man who's daring and doesn't care what people think about him, but also secretly cares way too much about what people think about him. And I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I always appreciated, I always admired those characters. And I had that Substack piece about it. You can go to my Substack. But anyways, yeah. So, yeah, Vincent Gallo. I can't believe it. It's just like it's funny because Skinner Quarters, he does a perfect impersonation of Vincent Gallo, and him and Ariel Pink were attending one of these screenings of Brown Bunny, and it was in one of these like theaters in LA that still did the passports, the Fauci passports, and and Vincent Gallo like did this distraction bit where to get him in the back. And he's like, listen, if I would have known that they still do this, I would have never had it here. And it's like Gordon did like a perfect accent of Vincent Gallo. But anyways, what episode number is this? 135?
We're on, I think this is one. I screwed up the numbering, actually. I have no idea what episode number this is supposed to be. Let me go check this is episode 136 is what this is supposed to be.
Yeah, maybe you should change the title.
I am changing that literally as we speak.
Oh, by the way, all of my episodes of DA, they have all been backlogged onto my Odyssey channel, along with every Content Minded and every
that is literally what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah, it's a slog because YouTube has this anti-cooperation thing where they don't allow you to automatically upload your archive to Rumble or Odyssey. So I've done all that. All the DAs are on my Spotify, which is the odd number episodes. Wait,
correct.
Do I get even? Yeah. So,
no, you started with episode 1, and then we have it stayed that way. Number. You will forever be the odd numbered episodes. I will be the evens.
Yeah, exactly. So wait, I'm the odd number episodes?
Yeah, because you were the first episode.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which is why the kink episode is on your channel and not on mine.
Well, that's right. Can
we get a DVD box set? Actually, that would be really fun to do.
Oh, that would be. Maybe we could work some out with Mike of Paul because pureobjects.com.
Yeah, well, I have all the equipment to burn CDs and DVDs. I'm not opposed to that. So like when we hit episode 200, I will make this I will go make it a box set collection of Digital Archipelago. And it'll be a limited time release. I will do it. I'll call up Mike after the show because I got his number. And we'll work out something with our friends over at Pure Object. But yeah, I like that idea. A DVD box set collection of your two favorite Twitter podcasters.
That's like okay, how do I change my avatar?
We could have a release party. You go to the little 3 buttons on the side, and then you says edit avatar. Like I have Oswald Arts, great stuff here. I love it. When Gio talks about e-girls, we bring out the mad frog / Daniel Radcliffe with guns akimbo.
Daniel Radcliffe.
I like the one from the AI trailer we had. I like
I have
this.
a good one.
I'm a fan.
I have a really good one. Here you go.
You have a good one? I have a good one. Alternatively, sell them a USB stick with every episode on it. So I bought a, where is it?
I believe the Sacred Archives did that. You could have like every sacred book known to man in a USB. Yeah.
I bought a 2 terabyte hard drive, external hard drive for
recently.
Yeah, recently.
Oh, same. I did too. My other one has no.
So
because
I bought a 2 terabyte external hard drive. That I've put all Prudentialist video, audio, everything that was saved on my computer.
So
I filled up
can't
2
get it.
terabytes worth of shit in like one fell swoop of moving folders around. I was blown away that I have 2 terabytes worth of content that I've made or been a guest on or part of. Because we're at the end of September. I've been doing this for 5 years now, which is kind of weird to think about.
Yeah, we'll give them out for Halloween.
Oh yeah, give them out for Halloween.
Kind of like the no.
We could be like those guys passing out coffee.
It was a QR code. It wasn't even a burned disc of certain BitChute documentaries. That was so like come on, man.
At least give them the full size candy bar if you're gonna make them sit through 8 hours.
A 9-hour film, yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a 9-hour podcast before, but that was not all together. No, actually, the one marathon I did was on Follow the Rules. We did the New Year's special. We only went, I believe, 8 hours. We went.
Well, YouTube automatically cuts you off at 12.
10. Oh yeah,
10?
12.
No, it's 12. It's 12. You can't go past 12 unless you have like a pre-Google buyout YouTube account.
I'm going to switch my avatar back because people accuse me of racism.
Digital blackface, as Tiny Seacoats would call it. But you're Italian. I feel like you can pull that off.
I know,
he's
but
Sicilian.
If I were to...
It's fine.
No, I'm not. No, don't accuse me of that. Don't accuse me of that. I am half Calabrese on the Greek side of Calabria, and I am half Marchigiano, which is central Italy, which is the closest to pure Roman you could possibly get. Although some people say not really. But so I don't know. I'm kind of weird because like I have red hair and I have more of a lighter complexion like my mother does, and it's just I think I probably have some Norman or something. I probably have some kind of other European in me. So
there's that Normie mailer.
Just a stone's throw away. Yes, but that stone's throw away makes the world of difference. Okay, in Italy between Calabria and Sicilian. So how dare you accuse me of that?
You heard the man. Don't accuse him of that.
Well, according to, most, well, anyways, I don't know. I wanted to get away.
I'm now thinking of certain mafia movies. Don't worry about it.
Me and Dimes were arguing about The Irishman one time.
I was in my chat. I watched this all take place because I do the terrible thing where I actually scroll up for context. And then I was watching both of you argue over Scorsese, and I was like, you know what? This is fine. This is way better than like the last 3 debates that I've had in my Telegram chat.
I've never. I don't know. The Irishman. I feel like it's trying to do the perfect mafia film, but he already created the perfect mafia film. It's called Goodfellas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the Irishmen, they're all old, they're all decrepit, and anything you can get from the Irishman,
the Irishman feels almost like an Augustinian retraction of Goodfellas.
Yes, exactly.
It's like I created this genre and I'm going to go out with it.
Exactly. Anything you could get from the Irishman, you've already gotten in the 2000s with The Sopranos. It's just not...
Which is infinitely better.
Exactly. So it's just like... something about The Irishman just rubbed me the wrong way. What's the recent Scorsese film that he did? The native indigenous one with
was it the
DiCaprio.
Killing of the Flower Moon or something like that?
Yeah. That's
I did not watch it. I know you and I have mutuals that will defend that film to the
Boomer
death.
Anxiety, the film.
Boomer, is that what that is? Is Boomer Anxiety?
Well, I think like from Scorsese's point of view, like it's just I don't know. I shouldn't talk because today in Canada it's a Truth and Reconciliation Day, and I'm not actually bringing that up to make a joke. I think like my position.
I did tweet that out because I said that I wanted Gio to talk about what the hell is going on in Canada because
I bought the Timmy's donut today.
You got the Timmy's donut. That is because of Truth and Reconciliation Day.
Yeah, they give it's an overpriced thing. It's $2, and they donate the proceeds to some Indigenous charity. Which I don't mind, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not
money laundering.
Well, I mean, if it's like, well, you have to realize Tim Hortons is run by a huge corporation now. It's not run by Canadians anymore, so it probably is just money laundering. But it makes you feel, it makes the Canadian feel good, and that's what that's the thing. But no, what I was gonna say is that
it's the nice, gentle, anesthetic before the maid kicks in. It's civilizational collapse.
Yeah, it's like Zizek, right? You get the morality in the object of consumption. You get the morality. But I understand, like,
not enough heavy breathing.
Yeah. No, but I understand, like, because Tim Hortons is an iconic brand, and of course they have to do something, I mean, there's been a lot of very, like, obnoxious activists as usual. I saw that Fortisax was posting a storm in Black Horse, but my position, like, I'm softer than these other guys because, like, my position is that I've always had a respect for the Indigenous people in Canada, and I think, like, the worst thing that I think was not the worst thing, but rather one of the worst things was the sort of cynical exploitation of their history by the Trudeau government. I think that the issues of the residential school system and the issue of the roundup in the 60s where they took away the kids and they put them in foster homes. I actually knew a guy who was my friend's father in real life was actually rounded up in the 60s. It's funny because Ben Mulrooney had a good show today. I was listening to when I was painting, and I was listening to it in the car. I think that there could have been so much more tact that could have been done under Trudeau instead of cynically exploiting it to match the American BLM protests of the time. And I think that the mass, has really soured a lot of people from the Indigenous issue, unfortunately. And so I definitely do have more of a charitable take. But at the same time, as a Catholic, the church burning thing is, such a shameful blight on Canadian history and society. And I think the majority of them were not even done by Indigenous people, obviously. They were done by these Antifa types. And it's a sad, sad issue. And I think that, obviously, there were a lot of legitimate issues, as there are a lot of legitimate problems and issues among these communities now. I understand the history of trauma argument, of course, those things in the past, I do not condone and should have been done better. There were a lot of children in these communities that were suffering, but then their suffering was added to by, taking them and carting them halfway across the country. So, I am more sympathetic than the average right winger when it comes to Indigenous issues in Canada. But at the same time, as I will do, if you watch the episode I did, as our good friend Owen Zaleski mentions in the chat, the episode I did in Canadian art, I spent quite a bit of time talking about my favorite Indigenous artist, Novo Moroso. And I feel like he's worthy of a whole episode of Content Minded, obviously, because he stands in such stark contrast to a lot of the Canadian culture grant given visual artists of nowadays who are, like their indigeneity is part of a product that they sell and they market, right? Like Novo Morso, he was living it. He was a shaman. He was real. And he chose to have, as a victim of the residential school system, chose to have a more positive outlook. He said, I want to give the knowledge of my people to the world, and that's why I'm a painter, But then, however funny and ridiculous a lot of his paintings are, you got like, for example, Ken Mockman, he did the Trudeau. Do you know about that one, Prude? I think I mentioned this on the show before. Monkman.
No, I don't think I'm familiar. I don't remember it being mentioned.
Where Trudeau is getting buck broken?
No, I definitely would have remembered this.
Yeah, okay, so look up Monkman painting Justin Trudeau. Do not research. Actually, do not look it up.
I will not put it on the screen for obvious reasons. I will look this up, but I will not put it on air.
No, you can't. It's too...
No.
So, yes, there's a bunch of Indigenous elders, and Trudeau is being held down. And
is he enjoying himself? That's the real question.
Yes, actually, he's got a big grin on his face. He's
well, then that sounds like Trudeau. If anything, it's an homage.
No, but I think like there's also an RC, a Mountie that's also, in this thing.
Oh, well, then.
So,
yeah,
I don't know.
mind.
It may be like, I wonder... he got into a bunch of controversy, Kent Monkman, about this painting. He issues an apology for the painting. Apology painting that depicts the actual, the SA of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. I don't know, like I could probably, I know that Monkman is like a leftoid, but you probably could do like a reverse media literacy thing where it's actually a pretty based painting making a commentary on the Trudeau government. But I mean, it is shock art. That's what it is. But
it sure sounds like it, bud.
Yeah, it's did you look it up?
Yeah, I looked it up. I'm not sharing that on screen.
No, it's not.
No.
It's a well done painting though, but of course he has an army of students.
That may be the most like Howling Mutant thing you've said. This is a well done painting depicting the world. It was tastefully painted. The brushstrokes accurately reflected.
Oh. Yeah.
The trauma of being. Yeah, no.
No, it's a pretty base painting.
Inside of you, there are two posters. One of them is like Howling Mutant. The other is Good Tweetman. Like there's just no in between.
Yeah.
And you're on that spectrum of like cringe Chungus or like just unfettered.
I feel like that's a Howling Mutant tweet right there. Like an Indigenous shaman buck breaks Justin Trudeau. That like literally is a Howling Mutant tweet.
Inside of you, there are two Canadians. One of you is a shaman. The other one is Justin Trudeau. You're both fucked.
No, but anyways, I didn't want to derail my serious point. I know I did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
It wouldn't be a show if we didn't do it at least once.
Yeah, true. But no, but I was just going to say, like, yeah, today's Truth and Like, I mean, obviously the whole term Truth and Reconciliation was like this made up sort of like liberal.
Well, this comes from what? Post-Rwandan genocide language.
It's a very politicized.
Or is it even older than that? Was it used after the Second World War, Truth and Reconciliation?
No, I believe it does come from Rwanda.
Okay.
Or maybe was it apartheid in South Africa or Rwanda?
One of the two. It's from a colonialist framework or decolonialist framework.
Yeah, and so, I mean, but that's what I mean. Like this sort of post-national country rhetoric does complicate a lot of that issue, and I think I don't know because
it's post-national for only one group of people, which is Europeans.
Yeah, exactly. So, but in America it's different because a lot of Indigenous groups, they have quite a diversity of political beliefs, whereas in Canada, guaranteed, there's always been this thing between the Liberal Party and them. But in America, a lot of them voted for Trump, and
in overwhelming numbers in the last 3 presidential elections, which is always it kind of throws me off because you would think like in my work experience, and even still to this day, I deal a lot with tribal government.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I've worked a lot with
What
them.
tribes were in Texas?
Well, no, I mean, I've done work in Oklahoma, is what I'm saying.
Oh, in Oklahoma, they got
Yeah, like I've done some work for them because I do
yeah.
some consulting work on the side. So I mean, I've done some work with like the Choctaws and a few other like the Muskogee Creek people. And so like they have their own unique system because like not to mention like the Supreme Court had kind of extended tribal jurisdiction in the state of Oklahoma, which fun fact for those who are not familiar, Oklahoma really just means the land of the red people. And you know, you have tribes from all over the United States.
Oh yeah, they have the Shawnee. Yeah.
So you have all the various tribes and peoples from all sorts of parts of the country that had been eventually rounded up after the Indian Wars towards the end of the 19th century in that part of the country. And so like, yeah, like there's a lot of white people that live there, but also it's, you know, a lot of grant funding and things like that for state and federal dollars. Your odds improve to get match from tribal governments or from various organizations or even with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, if depending on the number of people who claim to be indigenous or can trace back their lineage to certain treaties and tribes. So it's particularly interesting how it plays a role here because like it's also funny because if you go to Oklahoma City, they have what is slowly turning into a giant water park / resort, but on the same grounds of said water park and resort, there is what's known as FAM, which is the First Americans Museum, which is not, I mean, it's interesting. I went to it. I had some more based opinions later towards I was going through because, like, you know, the ladies who were giving the tour, you can clearly tell that they're Native American, despite their like their names being incredibly white. It's like it's really funny because like if you drive into Oklahoma, say like you're coming up from Dallas, you know, the Choctaws will like greet you on a billboard, and they're like, welcome or halito in their own native language. And then it's like, I think the chief's name is like Gary Batten, and he looks like your average like grilling American boomer that would invite you for burgers and beer on a cookout for like Sunday night football. Nevertheless, right, it's sort of an interesting thing to look at. But at the same time, I went to the museum and it was particularly interesting because you can clearly tell what kind of narrative they're trying to sell you. And that narrative is very reminiscent of another narrative at other museums in the United States relating to certain claims and ethnic cleansing and things like that. And so I'm just like, oh, wow, this is, you know, interesting. It's just missing a giant. I'm not going to finish that joke. But I was like, oh, and then it has this timeline of like European or American Indian relations. And I thought it was particularly interesting that like the King Philip's War was not mentioned on this timeline, or some of the other well-known Indian massacres did not take place because they're trying to treat this as like we're so oppressed. It's like, you know, we still name our helicopters and things after you guys and your weapons because we respect you as like an honorable warrior race. It's just it's interesting how things have changed. We don't have the same controversies or the same. I mean, we have much different ones because we fought them to like the bitter end. But we don't have the same kind of like school system because like Catholicism never really took off here. Like, yes, there were missionaries and things like that in the United States for various Protestant factions and later on the Mormons too. So, I mean, it's different in the sense that like we don't have the magisterium of the Catholic Church, but at the same time, you know, like there's a whole federal infrastructure for I don't know, like for Gibbs basically, and they kind of run these like quasi-autonomous nations, and they're kind of like the Mormon Church, wherein they have a large amount of money built up into real estate and banking and mutual funds and interest. But like, it doesn't matter because like the average person living on a reservation is still like dog shit poor and doesn't get access to these things while relying on the benefits that they're in. So, I mean, like a lot of programs and assistance, it gets really easily corrupted.
Well, there's a lot of corruption.
Hands down. And you have this whole industry for like grant writing and water projects and things like that. Like basically kind of like quasi-autonomous government entities doing what they're doing. But then it's like, okay, but the average person is still suffering, which is really unfortunate, all things considered. But it's like we never had, I mean, like it was really weird for me watching it because like, oh, I know quite a few Native American people or Indians or however you wish to call them or identify them with, but like for us, it was like you had said, and for the controversy, it always came out to be more like Black Lives Matter versus how it was in Canada. Like that's how they were modeling it after. They weren't modeling it after how we have our relationship to the Indians. It's particularly interesting to see that that was the way Trudeau went about it. And I mean, even now, Mark Carney, like I think most Americans don't even know he's prime minister. Like most people still
think that Trudeau.
They still think Trudeau's in charge,
Yeah.
which is kind of wild. How little we talk about Canada here in the United States, despite the fact that you're our neighbors to the north. There's so much going on in your respective country that should, I think, get a lot of people concerned. Whether it's like the open secrets about like India or the Chinese and everything. I mean, we have the same problems.
The foreign influence.
Yeah, like we have the same problems in America, just with different countries out in the world.
Sometimes same countries. Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's the same country. Absolutely right. Sometimes it is.
China.
Sometimes not. China. Do you guys have as big of an Israel lobby as we do?
No.
You have a bigger Ukraine lobby.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it definitely is still there. Well, I mean, we have a big Ukraine lobby, but like, no, it definitely is still there because of conservatard media.
Because of the Americanization of like the liberals.
Yeah, the Americanization of the Conservative Party and the media, like specifically the National Post, as it was started by Conrad Black. But no, I mean, America is very unique upon the world stage as to
this issue. Not the diaspora.
The conservatives will still always do the performative pro, Israel stuff. But it's like it's not as salient to even Protestants in Canada. It's still
that's a uniquely American thing.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still there, but I'm pretty sure like there has been, political discourse of similar nature, but like no, unfortunately Canada is, there's a lot of other foreign lobbies that treat us like a bank essentially, or
worse.
I use other explicit but there is like a weird sort of like cargo culting of American conservatives, but not any social issues.
No, those are issues that the left kind of like just fundamentally won on. But I mean, also, I feel like you can get away with trying to experiment. I mean, prior to like Trudeau's Trudeau wave, if we want to borrow a Brit politic term, right? But like prior to Trudeau, I mean, your nation was relatively the size of California in population, and it was all French and English people with very few non-Europeans.
Yeah, I mean, you had the odd like South Asians or whatever.
Sure, but not to what it is today.
You had other European people, but not.
You had
like today,
or you had Russians or Italians or whatever, but like nothing to the extent of what you guys have had since 2000.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Really since Trudeau, period. So since 2015, and because Harper was not like this big. I mean, I'm sure he was like pro-immigration, but not to the extent that Trudeau has opened the floodgates. And so it's weird to think because, like, you can actually experiment democratically speaking with all these like progressive social issues when you're a country of like 40 million people or less.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
You can get away with a pretty nice national health service. I mean, this is what made
like Northern European countries.
Yeah, this is what made the NHS work for so long until like immigration's really overwhelmed it, and that was a big part for Brexit. But like, you can't do that in America, and also like. The fundamental difference between I would say us and a lot of our Northern American and also our European friends is just like we really do geographic size, and then we're just batshit far more religious than you guys. And I don't say that to insult American Christianity in any way, shape, or form. It has been the I do believe in what Stephen Wolf says. Like if you were to look at the voting patterns, like white evangelical Christians in America have been like the lone bulwark against a lot of progressive insanity. And so it's like, like the Christianity inside of America, its Protestant soul and its desire to like break away, reform, become a new sect has been a benefit, I think, politically in our own situation, unlike what we see in Canada and other places. Because on par, we're still the most religious part of what you could consider the West, outside of perhaps like Greece or a few other states. But it's
Eastern Europe.
Yeah, it's particularly interesting to just sort of watch play out and break down the way that it does. Because again, like, yeah, we have like Native Americans too, but not to the same, or, you know, natives or indigenous or Indians, whatever you want to call them, but like not to the degree in which Canada does, because you guys never did the res system in the way that America did.
America did, yeah.
Well, also because like it's a lot easier to stick a bunch of people in, say, like Oklahoma, which not the worst place to live. I don't like the tornadoes, but where would you stick them in Canada? Because like it's a lot of that area is like frozen wastes that's sparsely populated. I feel like that'd be arguably worse. So I don't know. It's an interesting comparison. What else is going on in there? I mean, I feel like no one talks about what's going on in Canada, which I feel like is sort of a disservice.
Man, there's just
I want to know. Like that's why I brought it up. I was like, so what the hell's going on up there?
This week in Kakada,
I have no idea.
This week in Kakada. Well, they have a new hate speech thing where they could, like, you can't display symbols of hate in public, but it's very funny because I mean a lot of this stuff. Well, I mean, you know what it means. Like, it's very funny because they list off the hate symbols, and they do include the IRGC flag and the Hamas flag, but I felt like they just put that as like an appeasement thing. I highly doubt that any like pro-Palestine protester is going to get pinched for having an IRGC flag or whatever. That's like,
the Iranian Revolutionary Guard colors they're talking about, right?
Yeah, like anyone who has a Zigruns or whatever, anyone who has certain spinny wheels, of course they're gonna, like, you know, crack down. But also, like, they have.
Would they crack down if someone flew like the Dominion flag?
I don't think the government has gotten to that point.
Okay.
I know that these.
I was just curious how much of this is like a response to the trucker protests.
A lot, and most of it is.
Okay.
But at the same time, I mean, I don't know, because apparently Mark Carney is freezing out a lot of like Trudeau's old hands. And so it's sort of like in the UK where you have like the Blairites versus the newer people. It's kind of like that. Like Chrystia Freeland's doing some symbolic like Ukrainian foreign minister thing, foreign ambassador. All the other people that were affiliated with Trudeau, they're taking positions sort of on the periphery, or they're being forced to. What about the Khalistani flag? No, they're not going to include that as a hate symbol. Although, like, there has been, you know, I mean, there's a huge history of even like politicians in Canada being affiliated with like different groups that are considered terrorists in America or by Interpol, like whether it be like the Tamil Tigers or Hindutvas or Khalistanis. Like it is like, again, like the problem of foreign influence in Canada is very deep and problematic, but it's not like whatever these idiots like to think it is, like it's Russia or whatever. Like, no, it's like a lot of very different foreign groups are influencing our politicians, especially the Liberal Party. Although the Conservative Party, they're being influenced nonetheless, you know, they're also being influenced by these different groups, whether it's, you know, Hindutvas or Khalistanis or whatever, or the Chinese. Not so much the Chinese though, because the Chinese Communist Party, they never got along with the Conservatives in Canada. They've always been more, because, you know, the precedent with Trudeau Senior, you know, shaking the hand of Chairman Mao and all that stuff. So, no, but then it gives them license to like throw people in jail easier who are agitating in public. Again, all this is just downstream from the trucker thing. What else is happening in Canada? Our economy doesn't look too great. I don't know what the whole tariff thing is happening with America. I think
it's still ongoing.
It's still ongoing, although I think Carney's trying to talk to Trump.
Well, they're trying to. So, for instance, like where I work now deals with we have a lot of business in Canada, and the freight system, like because we use like a third party system to book freights because we don't have a carrier ourselves or anything like that. But like the carrier rates to go to Canada from where I work is kind of insane. To have it picked up from our manufacturing hub, and then all of a sudden like the rates just skyrocket into the 4, sometimes even 5 digits for depending on where the location is. And a lot of that has to do with the fact of like, I think it's like you get charged extra. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but like how it was explained to me, it was like trucks leaving or entering the United States from Canada, they're basically charged more depending on how empty their freight is or something like that. So every time that we want to like do business up there, we're trying really hard to encourage the customer and the client, like, hey, you should make sure that whatever you put on there is like a full truckload of material, because if not, like this is going to be really expensive on freight, and that's not good for either of us. On top of the fact that we charge a flat percentage, sort of as just like a force majeure kind of charge because of tariffs. Because it's like, listen, we don't know what to do. Some of our stuff comes from China. Some of our stuff comes from Canada. So it's just like we're more, we're just careful about how much crap we charge on. So I don't know the specifics. I just know that it has caused a lot of economic uncertainty between American firms and businesses that actually still make shit in America in comparison to, like the service economy or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's just it's stupid. But it really, I mean, I don't know. Not that I'm like big on like the whole like libertarian free market thing as I was when I was a teenager. But I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe I'm saying that out of sheer economic self-interest as a Canadian. But it's causing quite a lot of problems for people on both sides of the border, and I think like that sort of like shock measure is not. I don't know if it was very thought out. I don't know if it was thought out very well by the Trump administration.
I don't know what specific concessions the Trump administration. This is something I'm terribly not well versed in, which I feel bad because I should know.
Well, Carney basically caved. From his whole like rhetoric of like elbows up and we're not going to negotiate with terrorists, blah blah blah. So I think like Carney definitely is willing to negotiate with Trump. It's just that I think unfortunately, Mark Carney is sort of becoming an afterthought to Trump now, because you have like a lot of people like like here in Ontario, you have like Doug Ford who keeps saying stupid things, but I don't know what's happening. It seems to be an ongoing issue, and there's not a lot of like resolution. I don't know. Let me just go to Google.
Yeah, because like I remember in the first Trump administration, like the big push with like the USMCA was mainly political with regards to Rust Belt states, especially like Michigan and Wisconsin, with regards to like dairy. I don't know what he's doing now, and in part because like we just don't talk about these things on the Twitter timeline, which again, like my brother in Christ, you're the one who like curates your own feed, which is like absolutely true. I should be reading more wonks. I should be like more autistic about certain subjects or whatever. But it particularly interests me because like I just don't know what the hell's going on, because our timelines are so predicated with other things. Because like Ezra Pound is correct, America's a lunatic asylum in a lot of ways, because we can talk about how fucked another country is, and then it's just like, hey, the most like prominent conservative media actor was just like killed in broad daylight by a bunch of like trannies that aligned with Antifa, and we're barely beginning to crack down. Like it's kind of crazy, but then at the same time, it's like, well, our federal system is way different compared to other countries where it's a little harder to enact sort of authoritarian policies, but then at the same time it isn't anymore because of like EWAT and everything else. And so it's just like, well, everyone's kind of focused on like these bigger existential issues, which rightfully so. But then at the same time, you have to like kind of remind yourself, oh yeah, we're in a trade war with like Canada, like pretty much the rest of the fucking world. And we just kind of ignore it.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. I think the problem is like a lot of unfortunately, like, I don't know if I should say this, I might alienate people, but I do notice like it is a thing, like certain Americans will like even on the quote unquote right, when they talk about other nations' problems, there's sort of like there's a hint of like, oh, that's not us, thank God, but also like there's almost like a Schadenfreude type of thing. Whereas,
definitely, there's a Schadenfreude in almost.
I mean, Canadians do this with America, and it's you know, I mean, that is.
Well, I think it's
very...
come to bite you guys in the ass a
Oh
lot
yeah, definitely,
because
100%. Yeah.
well, I mean, the biggest tragedy with like Canadian politics is like when you kind of exist via negativa to your political neighbor, you kind of leave
Yeah.
yourself incredibly vulnerable to
Yeah, I mean,
outsider
don't
influence
be
or just
shocked when
yeah.
Americans don't like you when you're sort of.
Well, and vice versa, right? Like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised when I talk to other Canadians and they're like, "Well, we fucking hate you," and I'm like, you know, I can kind of understand why, but like
Well,
at the same
apparently Trump
time,
mentioned the 51st state thing again
which
in his
I thought
military
was
speech.
fucking retarded. I
Stupid,
really thought that was dumb. I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it why we're doing it. You're a troll. Like, he really is the content president, and that's kind of what I'm gonna just decry or not. I don't
The
want to say
content
decry.
president, yeah.
He's
It's
the-
all vibes. It's all
He's
memes.
the
It's all
content
image.
president. He's the
Yeah.
vibes president. There's
Yeah.
no real. I mean, which isn't true though, because like we say he's the vibes president and that's it. But like, there's a lot of things that this administration has done that has that is good, and I think that because we're on. And I think this is a big consequence of like the flattening of the horizon for time. Like our time preferences on Twitter become so flattened that we turn into a kid that cannot pass the marshmallow test to save his life. And so like we want it now, and then it's like and then if you see people wanting something to happen like right here right now, call JG Wentworth, all of a sudden you're kind of left wondering like, well, this guy's not a real plan truster now, is he? And then someone will post like a statement, and not even like actual policy that's being put into place, but like a press statement, and they're like, see, the Patriots are really in control, and aren't you so silly that you didn't trust the plan, you stupid panikin? And it's like, oh, I think that we deserve something better than a false dichotomy, when I think clearly we don't have to be sycophantic, but we have to recognize that this is like the best option we have.
Well, it's a thought terminating cliche.
It is. That's the thing that irks the shit out of me. Is like, you're a black
yeah.
pillar, you're a plan truster, you're a Trump sycophant, you're a MAGA shill, and it's like, can we maybe not fucking do this? But of course, the asking people to not do that would be is tantamount of like declaring war on the sea and I'm the Persian king, right? You know, like it's just not gonna fucking happen.
Do you remember that one episode of South Park about the speaking of the Indigenous casino? Do you remember that one?
I do.
They bet the whole town, and then he's like, "We could double our money." And then Stan is like, "Dad, what are you doing? No, don't do this. You already got the money to save the town." And they lost everything. And he's like, "Sorry, Stan. There's some things you just can't ask people. You just can't ask them to stop when they're, to quit while they're ahead." It's like, I feel like that's sort of like the sentiment that a lot of people have when it comes to parsing out memes and vibes from reality, or from, I mean, I have this idea that being, of my disposition, I've never really identified strongly with a mainstream political figure that I could like cheer for it. I'm like, I'm happy to vote for this guy. I don't know what that feeling is like. But if you're like on the right in America and you are someone who's very pro-Trump, and it is sort of like,
it's really hard not to be
that account MAGA mythos on Twitter sort of deal. Like, it's very hard not to be, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
like, I mean, let me start out, like, as much as I will criticize the president and everything else like it, I have voted for the man 6 times in primaries and in general elections, which I'm sure some people will laugh and say, "Oh, haven't you just fallen for it again so many times that you'll never learn?"
Award,
and it's like, yeah, I could go buy the little medal from Antelope Hill Publishing or anything like that, but at the same time, like, I also recognize that, like, I can't go back to fucking Mitt Romney, man. Like, I don't want to go back to Paul Ryan, like, fiscal conservatism, even though there's a lot of things about Paul Ryan, like, policy that I probably don't have a lot of problems with. Like, when he was talking about how, like, the war on poverty fundamentally failed. Like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but
we'll get to the Mormon thing, J4. We'll get to it.
And then that happened too. Like, I don't know the full context of it. There was a white guy who had done the shooting. It seemed to be more personal than it was for any political ideology reason.
Was he a hicklib or no?
I don't know if he was a hicklib, other than, like, it really did seem like he got effed over by the system. I think because he went through a divorce, lost his kids. I think I don't know the full story, so I don't want to, like, misreport. But it seemed far more personal than it was ideological or political in comparison to, say, the Annunciation shooting that took place a month ago now.
Or the anti-ice one that took place.
Or the anti-ice one. So like there's been so many shootings in the United States as of late, which is kind of like crazy. And
It's
I
like,
don't say
well,
that
people say
I
it's
don't
'cause
say
of
that
the
in like a
guns.
libtard way where it's like, huh, only in America can you have so much gun violence, and it's just like, yeah, but like again, I live in like the most fucking insane place on earth, in the most
America's
psyop
very
place on
insane
earth.
social pressures, yeah.
Well, and this is
yeah.
why I was like taking a big issue with Rufo's article about like radical normie terrorism or whatever. And it's just like, well, once it's radical, it's not really fucking normie now, is it? And I feel like I myself and a friend who went by a different pseudonym who will remain nameless, Mr. Monroe Star. It's not his real name or his real account. It was an alt. But like we were talking about that. It's just like, it's not normie terrorism. The normie expectation is to be a default libtard. Like I think even Michael Malice had coined the term default Democrat or something like that. And it's just like, the reason why that's the case is because basic cultivation theory tells me that we're all consumers of media. We're all heavy consumers of media because we can literally track the hours of television or the hours spent on social media and what we consume. Like, this is just well documented. It's increased. We've all become what Gerber would call heavy users. And because of that, like, what is the acceptable political position on any sort of issue? It is to be left wing. There's very little, if no, real right wing. Passively left wing. And it's okay for you to hate on the chud, right? Like, what do we talk? Like, what's the famous Sallow Forum article, Gio? And you've made this term very popular, according to Grok. Normie sadism. That's absolutely right. It was so funny because I was looking up the history.
I will never take credit for something I didn't create.
No. But if you go on Grok, right now, this is the thing that I find so interesting. If you were to go on Twitter right now, go to Grok, look up the history of normie sadism. It will tell you that Gio Panichetti helped make the term popular on Twitter.com. I have a screenshot of what Grok had said. I thought that was really kind of funny.
I didn't even invent neoliberal.
No, it came from the Sallow forums.
Yeah, it came from the Sallow forums, but neoliberal kitsch came from Thurston Botts Bornstein in his book Deculturation. I may have just rearranged the letters, like the word a little bit, but the same concept comes from him. But no,
so the thesis that we had come to the conclusion of was that because the default opinion from like what we consume via media is to be left wing, normie sadism is directly targeted towards right wingers. And when you live in a society where the constant like existential pressure from the left is to talk about how they're killing us, they're taking away everything from us, we have to act, we must do something, or we got to go out and take care of these guys. Like, okay, we already, they've already shot at Trump like what, twice, 3 times they've attempted to kill him.
Yeah.
And it's like
3 times.
Why aren't people going to be, quote unquote, activated, so to speak, to quote unquote take care of the problem?
I was gonna say, like, I don't know what it's like to cheer for like a mainstream political, but anyways, that reminds me of this rant I had saved up. There was some one of these, like, I'm not going to say who he is. He's not worthy of being of his name being put out there. But there's one of these like Antifa adjacent Substack writers.
Yeah,
that I was lurking Blue Sky. It wasn't Noel Colwyn. It's some other guy who's. Anyways, I was lurking. I forget. It was a Blue Sky. Yeah. And it was in response to an exchange by Noah Smith, No Opinion, and Cremu. Now, keep in mind, both these guys, I don't
have as much bad things to say about Cremu.
Yeah, me neither. But like, I'm not a big fan of like this rationalist types. I definitely hate No Opinion. I'm not like a big.
I think even most libs hate No Opinion.
Yeah, no, but that's the point. No, this is the point. Like, so he was talking about definitions, like Cremu replied with so when like when conservatives call liberals they call like leftists fascist, that's fine, but when leftists call you fascist, that's not. And Cremu goes, yes. Now let me pull out a very tried and true 2010 style leftist progressive argument about language being violence and how historical context constitutes the usage of certain terms. Okay. Now, when someone on the political, like, typical Fox News boomer conservative who has like the Dinesh D'Souza post Nuremberg type of way of viewing reality of like anyone who doesn't believe in like libertarian fusionist principles is by definition like a fascist or a fan of the Austrian painter. The left are the real fascists, the left are the real racists.
Yeah, Jonah Goldberg wrote a whole book on that called Liberal Fascism.
Yeah, exactly. Like Jonah Goldberg. When Jonah Goldberg and like Danush D'Souza, when they call the left like they're the real fascists, that is consenting to the normative opinion. The leftist morality, the normative opinion that's been cultivated by the left for 60 to 70 to 80 years.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have the same weight in terms of a call to political violence because they're just saying it because they're politically confused.
Well, because it has a moral weight for conservatives. Yes. It's a values judgment. It's not
exactly.
It's not
an existential judgment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whereas when the left calls you a fascist or an Austrian painter fan, that has an existential weight to their whole worldview in ways that it does not to the average boomer conservative Fox News viewer. Whereas when they call you a fascist, the political left, they actually do imply that you are unworthy of humanity and that you're a subhuman and that actually your redacting will be better for the human race, the one race, the human race, than if you were still breathing the same air. So to them, that actually does imply that language and words have violence attached to it. So there you go. I've basically reverse engineered the whole 2010s morality. And no, but it's true though. It's true. It's like a woke, more correct type of point.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I don't know, like what's the last major right wing like mass casualty event? What, the Walmart shooting? And that was what, 2019?
The Walmart one. The Pittsburgh synagogue one.
Yeah.
Would you consider Elliot Rodger? I mean, he wasn't. I mean, he kind of was ideological. But
is it bad that I want to say incel terrorism should be its own like category?
It's its own thing, yeah.
Because I feel like I don't want to say it's like post ideological because I'm sure Roger had some opinions that you and I would find abhorrent. Some we might agree with. I don't know. I should probably go reread his.
Well, Christchurch was one of the first. It was.
Yeah.
What year was that? 2017.
2017, 2018.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
I shouldn't say one of the first. There's been
countless others, but I mean, the degree in which those happens. One, they're usually isolated incident. Like if there's anything that fits the definition for like lone wolf terrorism, it's probably that. Because like let's face it, no one is gonna find popular cause despite all of the meme edits that you may find of said events on certain sketchy websites or forums. Like you're not going to find the public consensus being like, you know what, I disagree with why we did it, but that was not a bad thing that he did. Whereas what we've seen with Kirk and countless other attacks and murders has been like, well, I condemn political violence, but I was really glad that like Kirk is dead, da 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 da. And it's just like, okay, well, clearly that's the difference, right? It's like you're right. The right will reinforce, like your Dinesh D'Souza's will always reinforce like these political. Small o liberal orthodoxies that have been in place for like the last 60 years, whereas for the left, like you had said, it's a call to violence. And like everyone kind of knows stochastic terrorism is real because effectively what we've witnessed, and
there's been like some lunatics on the right who are affiliated with certain groups that have like plotted things that have been stopped. I mean, I don't want to say that
because that's fine to stop. That's what we want to stop. Hell, the whole Gretchen Whitmer plot, like that thing too.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention that one, Gretchen Whitmer one.
And then you had like the FBI having a lot of informants in there, to where everyone had the meme where it's like 3 feds and some autistic retard. It's like, yeah, there's some truth to that, but also at the same time, way different.
There's some of them that may be ostensibly affiliated with groups you would consider "quote unquote" right wing, but not really. Like the recent spat of them, like last year or so, like that one girl. But that's like not like, to me, that's not really ideologically motivated the way that like Brendan Tarrant was. It was more of like a very nihilistic and destructive grooming type of thing. But like this one against Charlie Kirk, I mean, that was clearly politically motivated. And politically motivated,
clearly left wing. And it's not like what's that one woman who does all this reporting? She like Be on X or whatever. The one who covers, she calls these things
BX.
BX. She focuses and she calls it like nihilist accelerationist terrorism and things like that, which I'm okay with that term considering some of the groups that she spends a lot of time covering.
You know what's funny with BX is that like I thought she was like an Antifa person, but like it turns out that she's like not an Antifa person.
No, she's like a gun-toting libertarian woman type.
Yeah, she's like a MAGA chud libertarian. She just wants to like not have the right be filled with like crazy people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you gotta figure like some of these people, it's crazy because like I wonder if they probably have tried to fuck with her though. Like she goes after some pretty crazy people. Like it's like, what are you doing? Like it's like you're like going into a, you know, like I don't know, it's kind of, but I guess like when you
like
have a
she's inside more, she covers more radical crowds than you and I ever probably will or be associated with or know.
Yeah.
And that's not to denigrate her. It's just to say like she covers a whole different class of crazy. That you and I would have no problem disavowing.
Yeah, or like not even mentioning to me.
Yeah, not even mention because I don't want to draw their ire. But
but I'm saying like that's pretty but it's pretty crazy. Like did she's just like some
she's
woman.
Just like a really big pro two-way type.
She probably has a lot of guns though.
She does, and she's posted videos of herself going to the range and things like that.
Yeah.
She was you know, but like
she's done a better job than like any like government sponsored Antifa group ever could. It's very funny how like this MAGA libertarian woman has done more damage.
She's got a team and everything. Like what she does is quite impressive. Yeah. I won't lie. She would feds, my right-wing chuds in the FBI or ICE, learn from her. That's all I'm going to say. Learn from her. Make something happen. But like again, like this goes back to the issue of like it's very frustrating because it's like it's never good enough, it's never happy, no one's ever going to be content. And don't get me wrong, anytime that I see the administration do something I like, my default response is, well, this is a great start.
Yeah,
may it go further. May the window go so far right that it looks like a nice round rotunda. But like
No, but the thing is, like, about the whole, like, rhetoric and vibes, like, that's obviously a good point. But my point was that, when the left does call you a fascist, that obviously does have a real...
Oh, yeah, no, it's a call to... It's an explicit call to, like, we need to...
It's a linchpin of their worldview. It's a linchpin of their purpose as a human. They don't really... A lot of them don't really believe in any sort of God or afterlife. And so, the linchpin of their being, having lurked a lot of these people, is essentially the mission. Of that to them it's more existential and real than any sort of Christian orthodoxy during the Inquisition. It's like really
like, what did you think Punch a Nazi meant? Like vibes, essays? No,
essays,
like they I hate to do the meme, but like I mean, lest we forget, like even during the height of like Trump 1 and the whole meme war era was just like, y'all remember Eric Clanton? Y'all remember the bike lock guy? The guy's no longer on probation. He's back to living his normal life. He is considered a local hero.
Oh my god, yeah. He probably has a tenure track by now. Like a lot.
I don't know what he's doing now, but like
it's like
he was given probation. The guy committed assault with a deadly weapon. Probation.
Yeah.
And I said this on. Oh, I mean, it'll come out later, and I'll post the free clip of it later.
You remember when they burned down a part of Berkeley because of Milo? Yeah. Like nobody remembers this. No one remembers like Trump supporters going to rallies and getting assaulted and having bricks thrown at them. Like,
no one remembers all of the like nice white women in MAGA hats getting physically assaulted by Hispanics who were paid agitators in California and other parts of the country in 2016 and 2017. Like, lest we forget how bad things were and still are, because it's escalated, because now they just don't have a problem killing you.
Exactly.
And people find that to be like...
No, but here's the thing, like on the heel of the ICE shooter and this thing in this Mormon church and what happened to Charlie Kirk, a major leftist writer is like, see, this is why you can't let up on them, because like they'll always have a double standard. It's like, bro, don't you see what you're doing? You know, I
He knows
can't.
damn well what he's doing.
The only time I've ever seen like people even on the right like really justifying terrorism has been like maybe a very small percentage of like anime racists or far right people that make the Brendan Tarrant memes or whatever. But like the vast majority of people that when these instances have unfortunately occurred, the vast majority of people on the right have their gut impulse is like, this is bad. It makes
Please,
me feel
dear
bad.
God, don't let it be
Please,
one of
dear
our
God,
guys.
no. Yeah. Whereas like people were openly celebrating and to such a wild degree that Charlie Kirk got assassinated. It's political, like say what it is. It's politically motivated assassination. And there's something very like 60s vibe about it. And like the fact that they're so, we said this last time we were on air, the fact that they were so flippant about it and they were so comfortable to use their real LinkedIn profiles or TikToks with their real names and faces about like celebrating a politically targeted assassination is very like, maybe because when you're on the political right, you do have a sort of like preservation instinct that makes you keep your head down when one of your, you know, when people on the right do something terrible or destructive or stupid or evil, you do have this immediate gut impulse to be like, God, why are you doing this? You're making us all look bad.
Well, this is all, but
And
also I
the
think
persecution that goes along with it.
yeah, but I mean, like in large part too, like the other thing to consider is that most guys on the right know that they can't ever afford, like it's like, you know, under their real name to like cheer on. Like,
Well, some of them do, and they're surrounded
some
by
do, but
trashed
like
by
usually they're
other people.
self-employed or like no one's like you live in a like
They run
a
podcast
conservative enough
networks.
area where like that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah,
But
they
like
run podcast networks or whatever.
or yeah, right, like that too, or like you're someone who is self-employed and you can afford to speak your mind.
And you don't,
But most people also are like family men who have to provide and take care of it, or like their professional career and their wealth, etc. Whereas I think this is why people kind of sometimes get caught off guard so much by like the like anime Jungen types, because it's like they speak your mind in a lot of ways. Not saying that like I harbor too many like what quote unquote like evil thoughts of what I want to do to the left or whatever. I mean, like I probably do. I'm not.
I prefer not to think.
I prefer not to talk about it or think about it
Yeah.
too much for obvious reasons. But like I'm well aware of my own sins, and at the same time, right? Like they kind of just speak their mind because like most of the this isn't. I'm assuming. Don't kill me, guys. But like I presume that a lot of them are way younger than me by a decade.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And are probably like well aware of how effed the country is, and aren't married, don't have kids, actively avoid it. Yeah, they see it differently than us because they see themselves as like young revolutionaries.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm getting to a point where like I'm thinking about, well, how much can I get away with, or what can I say, or what can I do? As I'm
to be honest, I'm trying to curb the political.
Yeah, like I'm trying to like I even cool my own jets because like I'm getting older. I am trying to make more professional connections IRL as well as online. But like again, it's a difference in generation, and it's a difference also in where I am in my own life. And so like I see them go off, and I see them go hard.
Would you ever use your real name, Prude, one day, or no?
No. I mean, I've already shown my face. I've been doxxed already. Like, I mean, potentially, but like, I mean, I could, but like, I don't want to.
I don't use my real name.
You don't use your real name?
My real name is Rusty Shackleford.
Of course it is.
I'm kidding. I'm fucking. It's a stupid King of the Hill joke. No, my real name.
I know.
He just uses that name to order pizzas. That was the greatest line by Hank Hill. Dale just uses Rusty Shackleford to order pizzas because he thinks the government's spying. But anyways, yeah, go ahead, Prude.
I've always liked the Hank Hill quote where he tells Bobby soccer was invented by soccer was invented by European ladies.
Yeah.
To keep men out of the kitchen or whatever, which is funny because in the King of the Hill reboot, he's like pro soccer now, which is kind of funny to think about. Nevertheless, no, I think it is interesting though because like the anime types, like everyone love him or hate him. We were talking about him before the show, but like everyone who's gone hard on like trying to get left wingers doxxed in the midst of the Charlie Kirk stuff, like Solion as being a very prominent example. I think he's like non-stop for the last month or however long it's been
for a
He has
month.
not slept, which is incredibly impressive. And I don't know what he does or if he has a job or not. Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
This
I
is
don't
not
really know
this is
either.
not a judgment call. I'm just more
Or
impressed.
Estetica is another one in Martin.
Yeah, like I am
and,
more impressed by your ability to go as hard as possible against these people, what feels like virtually at all times. Because if the right, and I hate to do the whole like imagine if those sides were reversed, but if the right had a weaponized, and it does have weaponized autism, but if it had a weaponized like networking team where it could track and identify people in the same way that like left wingers do
if we had our
after
own
rallies.
yeah,
We know what that looks like.
If we had our own anti-communist league.
Well, yeah, if we had our own anti-communist league, like if the John Birchers were militant, like if they were militant autists, like tracking every Antifa protester and could like effectively dox them every time that they like posted on the internet or went on a march.
There's still people that went to UTR that are getting doxxed to this day. It's been 10 years. Yeah, like I gotta admit though, that's mad dedication though. That really like
it's because that's your fucking job at a certain point.
That's your job, yeah.
Like you are getting paid, or you have a grant or something because you hate these people.
Like,
and I think that's particularly maybe the point I'm trying to make is that the right doesn't hate as much as the left does.
Wow, shocker, eh? That's
what a shocker! I know, what a fucking groundbreaking discovery. The right doesn't hate. And they'll be like, but what do you mean? There's so much hate. The Twitter isn't, and it's just like, sure, okay, that's fine. I guarantee you for most of those guys, that's irony poisoning.
Yeah.
Like that racism for shits and giggles. That cool map about like Indo-European step warriors and the spinny swastika wheel on the chariot. Like, yeah, it's a vibe.
Or like some K-pop dancer and she's got like the spinny wheel in the background.
And she's talking about like the statistics behind like HIV/AIDS. Like, yeah, okay. It's good propaganda. I'm not against it. This isn't a criticism. Who is the best editor? Who?
Besides Nightmare Friend. No. Do you know Chaos Reigns?
Yes.
Chaos Reigns the best because he tweeted this recently. He goes, we're past like the 2010s spinny wheel Hyperborean edit. We need to focus on something more positive and erotic and mystical. And
I agree. I was going to mention a certain I'm actually not going to mention them because
Nightmare Friend?
No, I love Nightmare Friend. I kind of want him. I will one day commission Nightmare Friend to do something.
We'll commission for DA.
I'm terrified what he'll create. I'm low-key terrified, even though I think Nightmare Friend is like an artist in his own right. No, I'll just say BRG, and I think you know who I'm referring to, who makes certain edits to call out libtards. And like I said, I don't really oppose that shit either. It's just but again, like you have to weigh down everything, and it's very funny because like we're very quick to point out the obvious. Where I remember like Luca Cacciatore, who I think works for Beck and Stone now, but he was like every dissident right Twitter account. This was like circa 2022. Was like they hate you, they want you dead, like you need to organize. And it's like, well, yeah, we say all those things because those things are fucking true. And like look at that, like it kind of came to fruition. But like and it is obvious, like with that kind of violence and everything like that, which is why I kind of took such an issue with the whole claim about like, oh, this is like radical normie terrorism. It's like, no, Chris, it's not. And if you're gonna like crib from that Kerbin guy who wrote for D's article about normie terrorism, like,
I was gonna say he essentially ripped off Kerwin.
Yeah, I was like, maybe not.
Well,
maybe
Kerwin had way more nuance,
don't borderline I don't want to say plagiarize. But I was like, pot meet kettle just a little bit on that issue. But also, right, the other thing is too, it's like, no, like we can kind of clearly tell by their actions. Like, I'm sorry, by their fruits you shall know them. And it's just like, well, gee, by their fruits we know that this guy was pretty left wing because he targeted so and so. We know that these people are pretty left wing because of who they associate with and what they say and what they believe in. It
very much is an abuse of internet anthropology.
It really is. It's really shit internet anthropology. And say what you will about Catherine, but like this is one of the few things that she is top of her class in is internet anthropology because she at least interviews these people. Love her or hate her, she is good at her job. And I would encourage more of our right-wing friends, and I would encourage more of my mutuals to do the kind of work that she does, because I think you guys could probably do it better. It's not an insult to Catherine. I just think you could do it better. And I would almost prefer it, because I'd like to read a man more sometimes. I'm a bit of a bigot, I know. Forgive me. But But like these things all take place, and then it's just like, well, clearly, like these people are not motivated by any specific ideology, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like this person just like killed a bunch of like Catholic kids at mass. Like, what do you mean? It's the same with like the Audrey
This
Hale
person
thing.
tried to shoot at ICE agents, but
This person
ended up
tried to
hitting
shoot at ICE
migrants.
agents. This
Yeah.
person actually killed a border patrol agent, and they're associated with the Zizians. Like, can we quit the notion that like we're encountering something new? We're really not. We are encountering the same problem that we have seen for centuries, which is radical left-wing terrorism when they don't get their way. Like, I hate to say that we still live in the shadow of the 20th century. We certainly do. And we're haunted by that specter of the 20th century.
Well, they don't
no
feel
one wants
any
to talk about it.
They don't really feel any remorse because they feel that, because of the amalgamation of taking his statements into the heat of debates out of context, and they don't care because they think that Charlie
even
Kirk
if he was like 20 times more moderate and respectful,
if he was like George Will, it wouldn't even they would still celebrate.
They'd still kill him. Like it's not because he was I mean he was especially within the last 2 years, like he was especially moving closer and closer, further and further to the right.
But he was a creature of like normie conservative TM, though, that he was.
But to some extent, but like as I had said before, like no one I know has managed to start a political activist group, student union thing.
Yeah,
at 18 and then make something work and then help President Trump win the fucking election. Like,
yeah, and he got griped. He took his lumps. He changed his positions, and then
which is amazing to kind of see on the public stage of discourse.
Yeah, all these little dinosaurs like Jonah Goldberg or James Lindsay or whoever, like they're never gonna change. You can't teach an old dog.
No, Jonah Goldberg works at the Dispatch, and like.
You see, or like even like
Jonah Goldberg was one of the biggest names on the Never Trump National Review 2016 piece. Like most of the guys, most of the guys that are on the front page of that article for Never Trump on the cover, none of those guys are relevant anymore. Maybe with the exception of R.R. Reno, who famously signed on to that statement, and I think has radically changed his opinions on a lot of shit. But he may be the only exception. I don't know of anyone else who's managed to hold on to any like long-term relevancy.
There's a great point by Randall Shakur in the chat. The only thing I have to say at this point, Gio, is that if the government won't do something major about this stuff, the next several things to happen are predictable and tragic. No, of course, if you're not going to have any meaningful political and public policy action to back up the vibes and the words of declaring Antifa a terrorist organization, then I'm sorry, but you've essentially given them license to do anything, because even in the midst of being called terrorists, if there isn't going to be major cells in places like Portland or in California or New York that have these people doxing people and harassing right-wingers.
If you're not willing to nationalize the guard, like, because I said this on, I don't know when it comes out. I think it's sometime this week, and I'll put it also on YouTube as well. I was interviewed by Patrick Casey for his show, and I had told them, I said, if you don't control the popular culture and the airwaves, which the right does not, the only thing that you can do is a deterrence and a show of force. And some people you don't have to like that. But if you don't control pop culture and you don't control the institutions that determine who gets hired and who believes the correct opinions, i.e. like right-wing opinions, then the only thing that you can do is use force. And of course, Heinlein was right. Violence is the supreme authority in which all other authority is derived under. If you are not going to clamp down on people that are doxing, celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk, or are actively planning to shoot law enforcement officials and work in
There's
ICE
been other targets against ICE and law enforcement officials.
Yeah,
wasn't it in Texas that guy shot at like 10 cops? This was
more recently in Dallas, Texas. Like I drive that route sometimes pretty regularly, depending on what I'm doing for work. But like it's he shot at a I think it was like during like potentially a shift change. Ended up killing migrants and then blew his own brains out. I mean, like
this happened during the BLM riots.
Oh, that too, yeah. The shooting of the cops. Thank you. I totally I thought you were talking about the more recent one. Yeah, took quite a few cops with him. Like these things are boiling, and like I mean, like I agree with Pope Head. Like it's not really accurate to compare it to like the Italian days of lead, because our political situation is different.
Oh, way different.
But like America has its own equivalent. It was called the Days of Rage, And we are experiencing that again. And if Trump is going to quote unquote monitor the situation, like then, buy the sticker, I fell for it again award or whatever, because you have to have the force to back up your claim, or the force to be willing to defend your sovereignty, because the state has functionally lost the monopoly on violence. I mean, technically, it's never had one in America because everyone's got guns, but like, I'm not opening the Second Amendment Band-Aid right now, but like,
but all these people that are getting doxxed by, people like Ars Aesthetica or whatever, or Martin, they're never like, let's be real. I if you were to, a month from now, if you were to track all of those people, I highly doubt that the majority or even a small minority of them would have gotten fired. Like, even, for example, there was that Ruth woman who is a tenured professor at U of T, University of Toronto, who celebrated Charlie Kirk's death, and they put her on temporary leave.
The same thing happened at Clemson.
Yeah, and they put her on temporary leave the way they put Jimmy Kimmel on temporary leave. Do you think she's really going to lose her tenure track position? No, of course not. The University of Toronto, you fucking kidding me? Like, come on. Like, it's just, listen, and for all those people that bring up
Kimmel's back on the air despite Benny Johnson and Orrin McIntyre leading like a full brunt cancel culture campaign against him. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad that they were able to at least get him off the air for a couple of days.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It was a test of what the right can do quasi-organically.
But to be listen.
Yeah, go on.
I don't condone people sending death threats to people. I don't condone people sending death or grape or whatever threats to journalists. There's one in Canada. I don't like her, but she certainly doxed and harassed a lot of people. But I don't condone sending any sort of like lewd things or death threats or whatever. I don't condone that. But at the same time, if you're not this professor at U of T, she's not going to get fired.
No.
Those people are not going to. Jimmy Kimmel's still back on the air. They will basically just.
I think they'll softly, quietly pull him away.
Yeah.
In the same way that Colbert is going to be, off the air eventually, because Disney's bleeding money. ABC is bleeding money.
Of course.
Late night television is functionally dead because you do not have a single source medium for popular culture anymore. Right. You just don't. And I mean, it's crazy to think that the entertainment industry has so rapidly grown in the last 30 years because, we used to parody late night. There are 6 seasons of the Larry Sanders Show, and all of the people that the Larry Sanders Show parodied when talking about late night, all but like 3 of them are all still celebrities today. Because, stunt culture, and you don't really lose your star power unless you do absolutely something batshit insane. And so like kind of crazy to think about, like the show from like 30 years ago, like a lot of the people that are still alive from that show are still functionally relevant and celebrities. And so like, okay, great. That being said, right. We don't have that sort of medium anymore. So like, yeah, maybe Kimmel will get like quietly, like they won't renew his contract. He's bleeding money. And, they'll just say like, hey, you're too much of a controversial figure. Like this isn't like really worth it right now. Maybe we can give you like a nice like deal and get you out of there. Or better yet, you can take what little fans you have and do what, Conan O'Brien did and go like podcast.
Yeah. What's Howard Stern doing? Did he do his own thing by now? Or
because he's off Sirius, right?
Yeah, it cost way too much money. Nobody because
I don't know what Howard Stern is. I feel like at this age, Howard should just retire and like go to some island and die of a priapism or something, just because like that's kind of the way I expect Howard Stern to go.
I just saw Anthony Cumia gloating about it because what's funny is that like him and when he was with Opie and Anthony, they fucking hated Howard Stern. Like they went to war with Howard Stern for like 10 years because Howard tried to hold him back, right? Because like they were the new kids on the block and they were funnier than Howard was in the mid 90s and early 2000s. And they were willing to go places that Howard Stern. I have
never found Howard Stern funny. Maybe I'm just a stick in the mud, or maybe
I've only ever watched Howard for like Whack Pack clips or like Artie Lang, or when he's had like the best interview I ever did was with Vincent Gallo. That was like I would highly recommend the Vincent Gallo Howard Stern interview. That was the best one that Howard ever did. But Howard Stern himself, he never appealed to me. I always found him to be like, I don't know, like the people creating chaos around him were always more entertaining than Howard Stern himself.
Many such cases.
Yeah, many such cases. Like Artie Lang. Like when Artie Lang left, the spirit of the Howard Stern show died, in my opinion. But anyways,
like,
no,
but I mean, isn't it crazy though that like, I mean, it isn't crazy, but I mean, it's a byproduct of sort of like our I don't want to say democratized, but like you have so many more choices. So I guess like free market or whatever term you want to use. But it's crazy that you and I can exist in two totally, like we can inhabit the same space and we can be on the same platforms, but you and I inhabit two totally different ecosystems. We consume totally different media, and it's the same thing with like the average person, right? You know, like I'm not gonna watch, you know, like I'm not a big NHL guy, right? You know, like
Right.
I'll watch, I watch MLB, but like I'm not an NHL guy. So like when you rant about hockey, I know jack shit. And it's the same thing with a lot of people today, where it's just like, okay, like I'm still like I'm not on Twitch, so like to me, understanding like fucking Germa or the appeal of Asmongold blows my fucking mind, because like I'm not on those platforms. I don't do what he does. So it's like it's totally alien to me. But for a lot of people, it's not alien, because like that's their thing.
When's the World Series? Is it in October?
No.
No.
When is the World Series?
Or November?
No, it's supposed to come up soon. It's supposed to come up towards the end of the month, maybe early November.
Are the Blue Jays in?
That's a great question. Who's in right now?
I heard they were doing really good
in the postseason. Because I am, because I used to live there. I'm a Baltimore Orioles fan, and they fucking suck. So no, who is still in? Detroit's still in. Detroit leads right now. Let's see who else is still in. Los Angeles is still in. The Cubs are still in. That's the wild card game. Chicago leads. So it'll be a good time. We'll see what happens. It'll be fun. Cincinnati is still in. I feel like baseball is one of the few times Ohio actually gets to still do something.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, the
Blue Jackets, forget about that.
It's not. Yeah, well, they're still in. They're waiting for the wild card game between Boston and the Yankees.
Oh wait, the Blue Jays are?
Yeah, the Blue Jays are still in.
Oh, thank God. When I was born, the Blue Jays won the World Series, and my parents dressed me up in this little Blue Jays outfit.
That's really adorable.
Yeah. I have when the official when hockey starts, because they have the preseason games. I'm gonna post this photo I had when I was a kid. I did my school photo day in in my Ty Domi jersey, and I'm like I'm gonna tweet out another year of waiting to get disappointed again. So I remember when they lost Game 7 against Florida. I was posting so many black pills so prolifically that Hood Action News actually did a tweet about how I died in a hockey accident, and they used the photo of that one, the throat. Anyways, that was funny. No, but what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so yeah, I mean, obviously, like a lot of right wingers have been sent death threats and have been harassed and have been doxxed and lost their jobs, and so. But I'm just saying,
I mean, even like that firefighter who donated $25 to Kyle Rittenhouse's legal defense fund, got doxxed and fired.
Yeah. So, but personally, I don't condone any death threats towards journalists or random people. But at the same time, I mean, it's hard for me to even say that, because these people have posted incredibly disgusting and disparaging things towards Charlie Kirk and his family and towards everybody else. But, I'm just saying, like, wasn't it the little guy, Mr. Benelli, that said, what if I got my head blown off by somebody? What if Hassan?
Dude, there would be liberals that are cheering that on. Like, I hate to sound so crass, but it's like, okay, Destiny, like if that were to happen to you, one, I would be really surprised.
There was like a left winger that Dave always argues with, Distributus, that posed this question.
Oh, like, was it Matt McManus?
I think it was either McManus or it was like some other figure. Okay. But it was a good question, despite it being rhetorical and in bad faith, because these people are incapable of actually arguing in good faith, as Dave has demonstrated over and over again against these people. But it was, in the abstract, it was a good question. Not Destiny. Let's not even talk about Destiny, because he's such an odious gremlin that I think everybody hates him. There's people in the political left that hate him, right? But let's say like a normative left-wing political figure, there isn't the same degree of like an influencer the way that conservatives and the right has, because we are like alt media.
Go on.
Well, we are like alt media.
No, I was gonna say, did you see that tweet where
McMantis? That's a good one.
McMantis. No, I was gonna say, did you see that tweet where they had pointed out that like Chapo Trap House on Patreon still makes like
140,000,
yeah, over 100 grand a month.
Yeah,
and they functionally do nothing. One is in hiding, and one has like a brain like aneurysm / he's in a coma. Like, isn't that
review Criterion films?
They review Criterion films.
I mean, I review Criterion films, but hey, I don't make getting paid 100 grand.
Yeah, I don't get paid 100 grand a month to do that, right? Like, I just don't. But like, isn't that wild to think about? Like, oh yeah, Chavo Trap House is functionally irrelevant, still makes 100 like K a year, in the same way that like ContraPoints functionally doesn't exist anymore. BreadTube is dead. Still roughly pulls in like $1 million a year off Patreon. Wild shit, right?
Wild. Yeah.
Don't you wish you had that kind of money?
Man. Oh, I mean, of course I do. Yeah. I mean, my problems.
If we were in it for the money, gang, we'd be dirtbag leftists.
It's funny because the left, they always say like there's piles of money to be made as like a chud, like Trump, whatever.
I've been doing this for 5 years, waiting to see it. Today apparently was my 5-year Twitter anniversary, and I'm like waiting to see it.
Anything Peter Thiel has ever paid any right winger pales in comparison to what Chapo gets organically on Patreon. It's not, But no, my point was that there's no equivalent figure. But say if there was an equivalent figure on the political left, right, in terms of like a very popular influencer that isn't totally incendiary or has a bunch of personal controversies like Destiny or Hassan or iCux or whatever.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. I mean, there would be a right wing. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I'm not going to.
There would be some right wing.
Oh, definitely. Joy. There would be memes. There would be like hanging.
There would be memes. There would be acts. There would be the same kind of memes that we have seen from the left. Like absolutely.
I wouldn't say that there would be mainstream figures that would do that. I don't think like there would be like even people that are sub mainstream like Ord McIntyre. I wouldn't think like they would start like sadism posting about it. Like
if AOC or someone like that were to get shot, I don't think anyone would be outside of like the truly anonymous. I don't think anyone's going to be like really doing a lot of celebratory.
If AOC were shot, I would personally, my own response would be like, listen, I don't like her. I don't agree with her, but I think it's a terrible tragedy, and I think that I don't condone political.
Well, and I mean this is the usual statement you hear from some types where it's like their morality is alien to you, and it's like because I have a moral framework and a code in a way I live that is fundamentally at odds to something that I would. And what's funny is that I don't consider it alien, but like the fact that like you see this discourse happen all the time. Anytime that a nominally conservative person like is killed, or even like historical figures, you want to see this most often is with the Romanovs. Like, the West has no real connection to the Romanovs, right? Like, I mean, like, they were Germanic, etc. But like the Romanov family, alongside all of the great European monarchies being essentially all related to each other by Queen Victoria and the rest, like, doesn't matter if you're some anarcho kitty living out in Omaha, Nebraska, you are going to be posting.
You got the communist flag. And
you'll be waving the communist flag.
Red Kropotkin.
You're going to be so excited because the Romanovs were brutally and ritualistically murdered.
Well, someone mentioned RBG, and I think like, okay,
it was really interesting because I remember that taking place.
I did that painting about RBG. Okay, I'm sorry, but
like
you can't compare.
You weren't doing the like protect your neck, like selling it as a T-shirt. You weren't selling your art.
I didn't even sell that painting. No, but the difference is that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, how old was she? 89 years old or 90 years old?
She was in her 80s.
She was in her 80s.
She was going to die
after a lifetime of service. Not that I think her service was great. I mean, she obviously was working to destroy the political right in America. But let's say, for argument's sake, like, you can't compare Ruth Bader Ginsburg dying of old age around her, like surrounded by loved ones, public funeral, celebrated after a lifetime of achievement. And like, I will say one thing. I think her positions were evil, and I think that Ruth Bader Ginsburg worked every single day against us on the political right in America. Not me, I'm Canadian, but like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she was an astonishing, an accomplished woman. She was a very intelligent and very top class level woman. She wasn't some fucking diversity hire. Okay, she was an exceptional mind legally. Okay, even a Scalia. I mean, if fucking Anton Scalia could be friends with her, that obviously tells you something. You know, oh yeah,
and you know, and I will say this:
like,
when Mitch McConnell dies, the only thing I will say is the one good thing Mitch McConnell ever did was hold Scalia's seat open for Trump to fill it in. That is the one redeeming feature of Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
And I know there's your incendiary take of the day.
Right.
But like, yeah, like when Ruth Bader, and also Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, like you had said, probably surrounded by friends and family, probably died in her sleep. You know, like it's not like she was out at a tour talking about the need for like judicial activism, and then like some right-wing chud like knocks her out at like 200 yards, you know, like
that's the difference. Obviously, Charlie Kirk was a young man who got assassinated.
Yeah, he was a young man. Yeah. A young man, tall, married a model, and was like a sports guy in high school. Like he was the embodiment of everything like a resentful leftoid would hate.
Exactly.
And
whereas
so
Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a Supreme Court justice who died of natural causes. And okay, I admit, you know, I celebrated a little bit that night, but like, there's a qualitative difference the size of the Grand Canyon between celebrating Charlie Kirk's death and impotently celebrating the natural, you know, the natural passing of a huge generational public figure like Ruth Bader Ginsburg in her very, very old age. That's, you know, you can't, people saying like, well, you're right, we were celebrating when Ginsburg died. It's like, yeah, but like you can't really compare the two. I'm sorry. It's like, and like I say, I am being genuine when I say that she was an exceptional woman. She, you know, Supreme Court justice. She did create a lot of precedents. A lot of precedents I think was terrible and bad. But nevertheless, to be at that level, to be there for so long, you know, you can't really compare the two. I mean, Charlie Kirk was exceptional as well. But it's just like people making that stupid comparison. Like it's, you know, but my point being is that there would be a lot of people on the right that their immediate impulse would be like, this looks bad. And I think this is wrong. And if a left-wing figure like AOC or whoever were to be gunned down, God forbid, you know, I don't think you would see memes, you would see Anon celebrating, but the extent that like people with their real names and faces going out there and laughing about it and cackling about it, I don't think, like, people are anonymous for a reason, you know what I mean? Like, there's not, AOC would be a better comparison, but at the same time, like,
in a lot of ways, I really do think that probably Destiny is the best comparison. Yeah. Although I think he's got much more baggage and extent. Him or Hassan. Him or Hassan. But also, like, I know Hassan said he wasn't going to some conference due to security concerns. Because, like, I'll be honest with you, I think someone would try to take Hassan's life. In part due to the incendiary comments he's made. I both on the left and the right. Someone probably wants to off him.
Babe Ruth Ginsburg, that's a good one.
Baby Ruth Ginsburg. So
let's look at her. Ruth Bader Ginsburg Young. Let's look this up.
If you say fellas right after this, I'm gonna fucking scream.
No, I'm serious. She was all right. She was all right looking. She's pretty good looking. Fellas.
I hate you.
No, like, yeah, she looked pretty good. You know, I mean, back in like the 40s, right? But like the 50s or whatever. But like, Ruth, she was born in 1933.
Good God,
she was all right.
Oh, she's. Geez, my grandmother was born in 39.
Oh man, holy crap!
Yeah,
I think my grandmother was born in 32. I forget.
Is she still around, or did she?
Yeah, she just had her 90th birthday.
Wow. How many years to your grandmother? Like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, again, like, there's no, like, this.
My maternal grandparents were too young for the war. My grandfather was too young, but my paternal grandfather was in the war, but he was only a airline mechanic for the Italian army, for the Italian Air Force, and then he got captured by the Germans. But my grandfather said he did out pretty good though, because like his friends were like factory workers, so they unfortunately had to do service in factories, and they had little food, and it was terrible. But then my grandfather ended up in a with this older German couple in this farm, because he was a farmer. He was in Hamburg, and this older German couple had this farm, and he said he got along like really good with them, and they treated him very good, and they wanted him to come back and work with them. But then he said, I have to go visit my family. But then he came to Canada. He was supposed to go back, but then he met my grandmother, and the rest is history. So yeah, he said the Germans, like he said the camp was terrible, but the farmers treated him pretty good. But his friends, no, I mean his friends, they were sent to factories, and it didn't turn out very well. But anyways, no, but yeah, you can't compare the two. But at the same time, like I think
like it's almost impossible to really think of an equivalent.
No, you can't.
An equivalent.
No, but like people, like you were saying, like people would hate Hassan and Destiny for other reasons besides.
Well,
them
yeah,
being political.
I'm sure that they have enough. Like, I'm sure they're
hateable figures.
They are hateable figures with punchable faces. And like it's kind of bizarre because it's just like, well, how would you even try and come up with a comparable scenario? And it's like, oh, I don't know if you really can. I
don't really hate it. Like, I mean, AOC is annoying and she's stupid.
Like, she's the pinnacle of like millennial like retardation in a lot of ways. But like,
I don't really hate her though. I don't really hate her.
Yeah, and I mean, like this. I think this goes back to that like very famous Bones tweet where it's like, when I say I hate liberals, it means like, yeah, I disagree with them, but if their house were on fire, I'd probably like save their life. Whereas like when liberals say I hate like right wingers, like they actually want you to be like brutalized and beaten bloody in the streets. And I'm like, yeah, that's very true.
But then again, I think like the reason why Chuds obsess over AOC, we all know why. I mean, there's two big reasons why. Get it?
I mean, yeah, I've handled bigger.
No, I know, but like,
it's like I mean, but also she's a mid-30s Latina now. Like the sex appeal is quickly waning.
She still looks all right. That recent photo of her with like the overalls.
Okay.
Let's go back to Bader Ginsburg. She looked all right when she was younger.
My friend would say very famously, I'm trad because I am horny. You and I just have a very different taste in women is all I'm going to say. And also like, I think I'm tired of, maybe like Hispanic women in general, just because I live in El Paso. I'm like, I'm good. Whites and meds are fine for me, thank you. I have developed a pretty effective bigotry.
Abuela OC.
Whites and meds are fine, thank you.
She baited him. Look at this chat. She baited on my Ginsburg. Like, oh my god, you people get.
She ruthed on my. No, I don't know how you would do that.
She ruthed on my Ginsburg.
She ruthed on my baiter till I Ginsburg. There you go. Like, you guys are sick. These are sick fucks. I feel like I'm gonna turn into that like Elliot Stapler meme. She was 89 years old. You sick. 89
years old. She was a fucking kid.
Help! I'm just an 89-year-old girl.
No, that was from Phil Leotardo from The Sopranos. Jesus, 89 years old. She was a fucking kid.
Yeah. But you see those tweets where they're like, I'm just a 25-year-old girl. And I'm like, you are a grown-ass woman. What the fuck are you talking about?
That was but that was like that one girl on TikTok who's got like 5 kids and she's 25 years old. Yeah. And they're like, she's like this retarded trad wife that didn't have her prefrontal cortex developed. And it's like, you're hating on some beautiful woman who has a lot of kids. I don't know what to tell you. It's not, this is not doing feminism.
She's doing better than you, buddy. I
don't even like, I mean, obviously, like, not even Andrea Dworkin would like, oh, I shouldn't say that. Like, there was a lot of feminists.
No, Andrea Dworkin would definitely probably advocate that her followers should kill those kids. Lest we forget how fucking insane these people are.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, it's just there was like this moment in the second wave, and actually the third wave, where, like, if you were like a wife or a mother, you were like less than a woman. But then but then I think like there was a moment in feminism where they tried to course correct, and there certainly has been a lot of like women that have said to this like viral tweet about this TikToker, like, listen, that's like kind of not doing feminism properly if you're going to denigrate some woman for choosing to have a lot of kids because of, like, I don't know, her frontal cortex isn't developed at the age of 25 or whatever. It's
Remember,
like
the sisterhood stops the moment you vote for the wrong person.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
because nothing turns on the
I think Paglia said that.
intersexual competition, like when you find out some woman like voted, like you see this especially with liberal women more than I think conservatives, where like conservative women will play the game of like, well, we're just hotter than you, and like liberal women are like, well, you're no longer a woman, and I hope like you get assaulted and die. Bye. And it's just like, wow, you people are fucking evil.
No, but that is like disgusting. There has been like really like that's like their immediate impulse. They'll betray like all of their principles as a feminist to be like, if you're a conservative woman, you deserve to have this terrible woman thing done to you. And it's like, why are you doing, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, although I will say, like, I mean, it is like a kind of a stereotype. Like, there is a lot of attractive left-wing women, I gotta say. It's not like
those are
maybe
the ones
on average.
Those are the ones you can save.
Yeah, well,
there's my bias coming out. If she's hot, you can save her. If she's ugly, it's too late.
I don't know about that, but I don't co-sign, to quote Ethan Ralph, I don't co-sign that take. But no, it's just like I don't know, it's a stereotype, and it's
you
kind
can
of
save
stupid.
her, Anon. You can save her.
There was like, I don't know, man. Like there's a lot of feminist writers that, you'd say like,
as long as you don't give me that safe, horny performance. That's another thing I've seen is like white people don't say I hate hipsters anymore. They say I really hate overly performative males.
Yeah.
When did that term come into fruition?
Maybe like around 2018. Probably.
It's been around that long?
Yeah. It's been around that long.
Okay, wow. I've only just seen that on my timeline these last couple of days.
60% of women are libs. Some of them are bound to be hot. Yeah, well,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. The trick is to find like a hot apolitical woman, or to find like to find
someone who is more extreme than you are.
Yeah. There's only two. Like, you can't have like the same, like, you can't
I have the okay yay lady, like, you know, the meme where it's like, what's going on with the stock market, honey? Like, don't worry about it, babe. Okay.
Oh, is it the one where she's like the attractive skinny girl when she's on the ground at some party?
No. It's a guy texting. It's a woman texting her boyfriend, and she's like, hey, what's going on about this issue? And the guy responds, okay, like, don't worry about it, babe. And she goes like, okay, yay. Like, that's what I have. And I don't ever, I'm terrified of her ever like becoming red pilled or something, because it's like, oh no. I mean, that'd be fun.
The only way you could have,
the only way that happens is if like she becomes we have kids, and that's the surefire way to usually radicalize a woman.
No, the only way to have like a red pilled GF or wife is if she's worse than you. That's the only way.
No, that is true.
Yeah, I know this. Yes.
That is true. You have that.
The Gio version, 100% of women are hot. Some of them are bound to be libtards. Yeah, but
true.
Avoid the Lauren Southern right-wingy girl. But
I ordered her book. I'm really looking forward to that conversation. Like, I'm really looking forward to reviewing it / discussing it. I
gotta get her book.
Dimes and I are gonna cover it, I think.
Son of a bitch! I told Dimes that we have to review it, me and him.
I think it's gonna be on an episode of Blood Satellite. It's not gonna be like, do you even read? The next Do You Even Read episode is gonna be the Hour of Decision. No, I mean it's Dimes and Judas hosting it, so it'll be like I think.
No, but I gave Dimes this idea, and he like screwed me. He screwed me again, to quote the Iron Sheik. Hulk Hogan screwed me again. But
I mean, I for one think that it would be a grand old time to go read that book. I have so many questions and so many ideas. Because like, why not? You know, like who doesn't want to discuss the history of like I don't want to.
I would have to say, I would have
What's
to
the
be
word
like
I
the
want to use?
devil's
The alt-right
advocate.
thirst trap of the early the
Yeah.
mid 2010s. You know,
I
like,
want to remember, like I remember when that happened. Like I remember when even like boomers in real life were like talking about Lauren Southern when she was with Rebel Media. Like that's such a wild thing that like she was well known by even like boomer conservatives. And it's like, look at her now. It's just, oh my god,
look at how the mighty have fallen.
have
I get
fallen.
well,
Yeah.
and I mean like. And that's partially why I haven't started to read it. I want to. I'm finishing my notes for Hour of Decision, amongst some other books I'm reading. But like, I'm really looking forward to reading it because I'm sure it's ghost written, or I'm sure it has some things that took place that may not be the most accurate version of events.
It's
Don't
like
know.
the Al Reeves
but like,
book. Yeah.
I also know that like I have never gotten that close in terms of like the conservative media establishment or even like alt-light media. So I can't relate to the absolute batshit insanity that she probably went through and put up with. And also, she was doing this when she was younger. Lauren is only what, a couple of years older than us, if not the same age.
Right. She's like 37 or something.
Is she?
Yeah.
No, she gotta be a little younger than that. How old is Lauren Southern? Sorry,
She can't be my age.
We'll find out. She's, oh my god, she's my age. She was born in 95.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. I'm older than Lauren Southern?
Yeah, Lauren Southern and I were both born in 1995. She just turned 30 earlier this year. That is wild.
That's crazy.
So I mean, okay, consider everything like 10 years ago. You are in your early 20s. You were probably, you just turned 21. And you were dealing with all the shit included there. I imagine that you don't walk away from that not fucked up.
Of course.
So like, there's my women respecting moment right there. Like, there's no way in hell you don't walk away from all of that shit a completely like fucked up human being or severely traumatized or whatever. Like, I wouldn't be surprised for her crash outs and things like that. But I also know that like that's uniquely applicable to her because she is a woman and she probably went through things vastly different than I would have had I been assigned to the same crowd or camp. But also, considering how like gay conservative media and the Republican Party is, God only knows what I would have been exposed to. So,
oh my god, yeah,
it's just kind of crazy to think
your
about.
Fine twink body.
Jesus, Gio.
Oh, sorry. Anyways. You imagine if you were alone in the room.
The mic is live. The mic is live.
Imagine if you were alone in the room with Lindsey Graham.
Well, I don't live in the Carolinas, so I don't have to worry about Ladybug
now,
Graham.
Son,
But I knew like
papers in my hotel.
Like with the guy who was in the College Republicans when I was in college, like he was a gay man, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm good. I think gay marriage is bad, and I was like, I'm done. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell asked you to sign some papers in his hotel room.
I don't think Mitch McConnell's gay.
Sorry, Lindsey Graham. I'm getting confused.
Or Cory Booker. Although Cory Booker, like, congratulations, Trump has made 2 gay black men straight. I'm so impressed.
That he would
talk about being an absolute patriot. Donald Trump, gay conversion therapy works. Cory Booker and Tim Scott are married.
When Trump said, "I can't believe he got married."
I can't believe he got married, folks. I would never believe this guy to get married. Wow, to a woman too.
That's why I can't really hate Trump. I can't
because regardless of the policy stuff, I hate to be like a vibes based.
Trump the man though is
Trump
different.
the man.
Yeah. Like when with Hillary, he's like, she's bleeding everywhere. She's bleeding in any.
That was with Megyn Kelly. That was Megyn Kelly.
Oh, it was Megyn Kelly. Yeah.
No, the best Trump moment with then
Megyn Kelly became like Trump's strongest soldier.
She really did. She, I guess, she stopped bleeding out of everywhere and realized that you got to get on the Trump train. In the same way that you had who was it? The very with Hillary Clinton, it was because you'd be in jail. That was because
you'd be in jail. And the way he said it, he just dropped it like Andrew Dice Clay, because you'd be in jail. Oh, that was iconic.
You want to have a fun time, chat? Go look up an Andrew Dice Clay, just a bit. Just go look up
from the 80s.
From the 80s. Yeah. There is a great time of him in Vegas circa 1986.
He was like a rock star. He had chicks flashing him, and he was like
And
feeling
he's making
up their
jokes about
tits.
F slurs and AIDS. Like, it was a. You watch that now, and you're like, "Oh my, how problematic!" And you're like, "Wow, we were a country back then. How cool is that?"
There was this one bit on Opie and Anthony where him and Jim Norton got into a fight. It was like no, it wasn't Jim Norton. It was Andrew Dice Clay. Yeah, it was. It was Andrew Dice Clay against Jim Norton. It was like very funny. Like they were just like calling each other names the whole time. Is Howling Mutant just Andrew Dice Clay?
No. Howling Mutant is something completely of his own right. I don't know what I could compare him to. He's like a right-wing Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
That's probably the best comparison I can
He's like
give.
a right-wing with the whitest kids you know. That's
yeah, that's true. Man, talk about things that my lady friend did not know who the whitest kids you know were. And I was like, "Oh, honey, I gotta correct that." So I showed her the Grapist bit. I thought that would be the best introduction for some reason, because I had made a reference to it. I was like, "Oh yeah, like the Grapist," and she was like, "What the hell is the Grapist?" And I was like, "Oh, you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about." And I was a little like dead inside after hearing that news. Total millennial moment, am I right? And so I'm just like, wow, like this is kind of insane. Like I can't believe she doesn't know that. So I showed her the Grapist thing, and she was just like, "What the hell did I just watch?" And I was like, "You didn't find it funny?" She says, "No, I did, but it was like really weird." And I was like, "Okay, like this isn't over yet. Like this is pretty nice."
Oh man.
Yeah, I would love a right-wing Trevor Moore, I guess, is maybe like, that's not a bad comparison.
I wish Patrice O'Neill had never died. Can you imagine him in this media environment?
He would be the could you imagine? Oh my god, Trump Trump jokes with Patrice O'Neill.
And like Patrice O'Neill would be like wearing a MAGA hat just to like piss
people
off. He would do that. Yeah, he would.
And he would be everyone's go-to appeal to cool black guy fallacy.
You'd have like the most racist like right winger on Twitter.
The most racist right winger would like hesitate. Like all the T&D posters would hesitate the moment they realized that also means, you know, Justice Thomas and Patrice O'Neill and Thomas Sowell. Like that's when they realized, oh no, I don't know if I have the strength.
Can you imagine if Patrice O'Neill debated Destiny one time? It'd be like a total slaughter. It would be great. But I realize we are doing like the Soylenial thing, like the cool black guy thing, but like we have to like let
I literally just said
that. Yeah, we have to like afford ourselves this indulgence, because like I did quite enjoy Patrice O'Neill on Opie and Anthony. It was pretty good.
When did he die?
2010.
Oh man.
Yeah, 2010.
We
were robbed of Patrice O'Neill in the 2010s. We were robbed of.
We were robbed of a Patrice O'Neill in like the Trump era. Like I just, wow, what a fucking. I thought he died later than that. I really did think it was like 2012 or something. But okay, that's fine. Yeah. Well, I mean, he got what he wanted. He died with a black guy in office. I guess that's fine.
I didn't even know he hated Obama.
I know.
Yeah, he hated Obama. Yeah, I remember he wanted Alex Jones. Like this is like people. Okay, I was actually discussing this because me and Kino Corner were talking about the script that he's turning into a film called The Radical, that's gonna have Charles Carroll in it. And I mentioned this. Like people don't realize that conspiracy culture was like not apolitical, but it had like a very wide like cultural valiance, because people on like the left and on the political right, like they literally would all of them tune into Alex Jones. And like I know like certain people on the left, they wouldn't like when Alex Jones would do like the more like social conservative opinions. But I remember like when I was in high school, I was first listening to Alex Jones. I even like I would never have like guessed that he did have a lot of social conservative priors. But then as the more you listen to him, the more he like talks about things like abortion. But then he would have like people that you would never figure would go on Alex Jones circa 2025. People like KRS-One or Immortal Techniques or Sean Penn, or like Sean Penn went on InfoWars. Like, this is crazy. Like, nobody remembers this history.
Well, it was a different
It was a different time. Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Like and I hate to do that whole like, wow, like we didn't know how good we had it or whatever, but like
we
like
literally did not know how good
but like
we had
early
it.
2010s, like alt media, like this is the thing. This is something that Sandbatch and I kind of talked about when we were covering.
I loved that shit.
When we were covering
every day I lived that shit.
I bet. And I'm just thinking about the like we were referencing the Dr. Jacoby bit from the Twin Peaks: The Return, because it's just like that guy is embodying the sort of like crunchy hippie-dom like early 2010s alt media that David Lynch is like really trying to cover. And it's very kind of Alex Jonesy, but it's also very folksy. And you don't that does not exist because the media ecosystem has become so like hyper partisan. Like you really have no reason to ever. You couldn't go back to it even if you wanted to.
No.
Which is
you'd either
depressing.
have to be like a parapolitics bread tuber. You'd have to be like Alex Jones.
Yeah, like at that point, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're either Caleb Maupin or you're Alex Jones. There is no in between on that issue. Because like again, there is no acceptable breadth of norms anymore. And that sounds like that's maybe the most sort of like normie con thing you can say.
That you can rebel against,
but the death of norm that you can't rebel against. Like there are things that like that's too far. Like we won't say that, or we won't go that far. We won't celebrate that. Whereas nowadays, like, yeah, there are plenty of professors and plenty of other people, like we just discussed, who have openly advocated that like Trump should be next, or Stephen Miller. Like our friend Fraser Payne called this out quite eloquently. It's like the gay guy and the Hispanic girl boss who run Gavin Newsom's Twitter account have made it abundantly clear that they want Stephen Miller dead because they keep labeling him a fascist. And they want someone to do something. And so it's like, okay, this is where you're at.
And they did the whole like millennial 2010s, like, if you don't want to be killed, then stop being a fascist. And it's like, just stop doing fascist things and we won't try to kill you. It's like, wow, okay, that's like very insightful. That's like really, really a real good home indicator of our millennial generation, that what we've produced.
Like, just be a heckin' good person, bro.
Yeah, just be a heckin' good person and we won't kill you. That's like, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and so it's just like, okay, I don't believe you for starters, right? Like, I just don't.
There's nothing Stephen Miller could ever do that would like make them not hate him.
Stephen Miller could and I think Trump had said this as well, which is like, I hate to be the guy that's like, oh yeah, Trump's right about everything, but like, he did say like, I could find a cure for cancer tomorrow and everyone would fucking hate my guts. And it's like, yeah, that's like fundamentally true.
Probably true.
That's probably true. Like if Trump found the cure to cancer tomorrow, or if RFK Jr. like found like the cure to cancer and autism and AIDS, like does not matter.
Oh god, the autism debate. That was another thing.
Hey, are you a Tylenol American or a vaccine American? Like what kind of autist are you? Are you an acetaminophen? Or were you, or were you, or did you have money growing up and you were a Tylenol baby? Like,
I like Naprosyn.
And then everyone found the tweet from like 2017, and they're like, actually, we don't recommend you take Tylenol when you're pregnant. It's one of those dumb. It's like one of those dumb boomer con media moments where you're just like, actually, this is really fucking funny, and I'm really glad that I get to live in this timeline. Although, man, I sometimes you have encounters with like boomer conservatives, and then you kind of just remember that you never want to leave twitter.com ever again. Like you just want to stay in your safe space. Because I had this moment. So I had a couple, I mentioned this not too long ago. A couple of weeks ago, I was reached out by some media company, or actually it was a firm. It was like a media firm.
It was Peter Thiel.
No, it was not Peter Thiel.
No, I'm kidding.
It was like I think it was like a Larry Ross company or whatever. And they were like, hey, like, would you be interested in having this guy on your show? And I was like, fuck it, why not? Like, what's the worst that could possibly happen? And I put that out. I put that interview out, and this is not to denigrate the guy. The conversation
he's a nice guy.
The conversation was respectable. I don't have I'm not like trying to be terribly mean or evil here, but like I got like the unholy trinity of like boomer conservative, like kind of like paid talking points where I wanted to like die internally. I got a reference to Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi's nonviolence, and then like a reference to Dietrich Bonhoeffer. And I was like, okay, I need to like politely take a cyanide capsule while I'm doing all of this. and rethink my life. And obviously that's not going to happen, but I was just like, oh no.
No, but he was a nice guy.
He was a nice guy. My comment section tore him and myself apart, but it was just like, but it was like rightfully so. I earned that one. That's fair. It was just, it's just funny to think about, like, oh yeah, like that happened, and oh yeah, that all took place, and what am I going to do about it? Well, nothing now, obviously, but it's just sort of funny to think about the context of everything, because it's just like, oh yeah, like there is still such a wide berth between your average like Gen X or slightly older, conservative media personality versus the guys that you and I interview or talk to on Twitter. Like, if I were to make a reference to fucking The Hour of Decision, I'm sure I'd scare the shit out of somebody in polite company, or something like that. Like, it was kind of wild when like Tucker had Oren on, and then Tucker was just like, yeah, read a Lothrop Stoddard book. And I'm like, like, really, like, Tucker, come on. Like, I know what's in those books. I own those books. But those are not the things that scare my parents.
It's like, I think it was, I forget who said this today. It may have been, I forget who said it on Twitter, where someone mentioned the Codrianu book.
For My Legionaries.
For My Legionaries, yeah. Where he's like, people think that this is like an alternative to like the Austrian painter, whereas like, no, actually, like Codrianu mentions a certain people every single page. It's like, but there's like someone I think it was Kungi Drukpa that made that tweet about like, this is the Austrian painter for tech bros, like multicultural tech bros, and it's Lee Kuan Yew.
Yeah.
This is the Austrian painter for Catholics, and it's Franco. It's like like everyone has their own version. Like,
what was the exact? Was it him? Was it Cunley or someone else? Where it's like
maybe someone else, yeah.
Someone, because some of the American Reformer guys were like, well, we would love to have like a Protestant Franco, and then it's just like, I like how I don't remember who said it, it's gonna bug the shit out of me, where he was just like, it's really funny how like the American right wing is just like trying to reinvent the Austrian painter without naming him. And I was like, damn, that's really that's so biting and insightful. I could almost like funny like dirtbag libtard or like genuine right wing chud. You be the guest for who wrote this tweet, And it's just like we're all trying to reinvent without naming him.
I wonder if like Stalin is like that for leftists. I wonder.
I don't know.
No, maybe not. Like, because Stalin's too divorced from.
Are we like big Stalinists? Like, are there a lot of like big Stalin heads in?
I mean, tankies, but then like average leftists.
But like how? But how? What's the average tankies appeal to like? I don't know. Like I don't.
Is there a Stalin light that they like to worship?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
No, because then, like, I think, like
it's a legit question. I'm curious now.
Well, I know, like, a lot of leftists love the Haitian Revolution.
Well, yeah.
That's, like, their version of it. But, like, no, but, like, you were saying with the Romanovs, like, even, even if you can say, like, Tsar Nikolai was a bad Tsar, like, there was, like, a whole history of decay, and you can't really pin that on his children. You know what I mean? Like, you can't like pin this on children to be like, okay, you inherit
and to single out, just the actions of Tsar Nicholas II, and then compare like, well, his father also did a shit ton of things too that did not make the situation any better. Like, say what you will, but like,
Che Guevara, there you go.
That's Che Guevara is a good example.
No, but he was a homophobe. They canceled him.
They canceled. Oh my god, who? Yeah. This was a. I don't know who hosts. I don't even know if he still calls it this podcast. I remember our friend Dave Green was on a podcast called The Beautiful Toilet. This was like during the Biden administration.
Oh yeah, Nick.
Yeah, okay. And like Nick had said that like, they would call themselves Marxists, but they would cancel like Marx and Stalin for being transphobic. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much true. Like,
there was this one meme where it was like, I think Tinkswork shared it.
And see, that's a guy who really likes the Haitian. That's a guy who really likes the Haitian Revolution.
I don't know about that, but like,
he's openly tweeted it.
He has.
Yes, he's tweeted about it on other accounts as well as I think his present one about the Haitian Revolution.
I can't talk shit about a mutual. Anyways,
I can talk shit about a dirty communist who's not even Swedish.
Anyways,
whatever. I
forget who said it, but it was like this clip of like this like really lanky like. It was like this, I think it was a black kid. he was like not a let's player. What do they call those things? Speedrunners.
Yeah.
Do you know that clip where he's like, ah, 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 ah! Like he like so someone edited this kid, the speedrunner, where it was like how to cancel Karl Marx, and it was like Karl Marx said things about Mexicans or whatever, or some other ethnic group or Romanians. And it's like just the kid's like panicking, like in excitement and glee. He's like, I did it! Like a speed runner. Like, I don't know. I found that meme like hilarious for some reason. Like how to like cancel Karl Marx in lightning speed. That was pretty funny. Like, anyways.
So true though.
You can't really think of a leftist, maybe Che Guevara, but like,
yeah,
no,
it's really hard to think of like one specifically that
yeah,
they get, because I mean at this point it really is just like, well, our politics these days are like we really just got to kill them. There really is no, it's very hard to imagine anybody else that's like being cited or referenced that they would want to emulate.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like you were saying about the early 2010s, like, or the mid 2000s, we kind of really didn't know how good we had it. Like, there were like political tensions, and certainly like when I was reading conservative media at the time, there was always this air of like things are going to get worse and the left is going to get more radical. And it's like you kind of thought about that, and like governments were going to get more oppressive. But even if it's like not even like in a political way of like leftist governments, but governments in general, that very much was the vibe of like the early 2010s or like the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
And it was like a very like passive centric, like what you would call like schizocentrism of like every conspiracy, but there was always this like libertarian vibe of like, you know, power itself by the government, by secret societies are inherently negative and they're, you know, going to get worse. But then I think like as time goes on, a lot of people that had the thesis of like, well, we have to break free of the political spectrum because it's like a divide and conquer tactic. A lot of people, I think, along the way, Alex Jones included, realized that, well, it's not just like, oh, yes, there's an element of like divide and conquer, but then we, you know, as time goes on, we do genuinely realize like how radically different our mindset is from one another if you're on the political left or the political right. And actually those categories are meaningful. And the sort of like very and I hate this because like I hate what I'm about to say because I lived this thing for a long time, this sort of like conspiracy culture stuff. But it pains me to say, but the sort of like attitude that the left and right are meaningless and there's this higher principle and they just use it to divide us. That in a way is a much easier reality to live in.
The enlightened Occupy centrism.
Exactly. Then like the reality that we have now, which is that actually the left and right are there are meaningful categories and that do constitute wholly different political ontologies and existential ontologies. And that we do view reality and being itself as fundamentally different. And I think like that's a harder way of living because it implies very hard truths about people interpersonally than the other thesis, which is like left versus right is a false consciousness thing and sufficient awakening can they can leave you of this delusion that there
and also
are, like,
so much of that is that kind of like I think the best description I can come up for it is like the Occupy Wall Street, you know, kind of like I don't want to say it's a unity push, but it certainly felt like one in a lot of ways where if we all can come together, then, you know, like clearly we can overthrow the powers that be. Like there was this like kind of ontological otherness that existed at the time. And I think it's also, I mean, like this is also what explains a lot of like the very early classical liberals, wherein like all of a sudden, oh, I can look this up and we can debate and we can hash this out. We can have actual polite conversations still. And this is where this is like the last vestiges of dialogue. And this is why I think like Dave is like the last like Japanese imperial like soldier with his katana shaving his like beard, and it's 1973. Because like what else do you have to say other than, you know, those differences are actually really stark, like you had said, but also like it was the last time where I think there was this kind of overly, like, this is going to sound, I'm trying not to make this sound like a VDARE thing or like an explicitly racial thing, but like there was this last kind of explicitly like white identifying, almost, I want to say monoculture, like everyone kind of recognized there was the moment with the hipsters and the Occupy, like things that were considered crunchy that are now kind of called fascist.
Yeah, like listening to Alex Jones was like alternative and cool back then.
Yeah, like exactly. And on top of that, like you have the overall point being made that yeah, like we have some differences, but we both know that like we're getting screwed over by like the man. And we know that we're there's more to us than them. We can overcome these issues, et cetera, which is like when you're like thinking about yourself and you're not thinking like the millions of people that look at you for purely like racial animus, or they really despise you and they want to like enact some kind of ethnic color revolution against the country, then like all of a sudden, like, yeah, you do have the sense that like, oh, we can come to common ground. Like we can believe these things. And the same way that like, I still like talking to these people are sick, you know, the guys from like the Fed Post, like they're like, I would call them like little O orthodox Marxists in a lot of ways. Like I don't agree with them on economics. I agree with them on some issues, like socially probably, but also at the same time, like when I talk to them, I still recognize that there are these like fundamental divides on a like not just an a priori level, but like a metaphysical level too. Even though like I think some of them, I think they're both Catholic. Like I just disagree with them on like how they're approaching these issues or whatever. And it's like, okay, clearly we have some disagreements that are like not going to be able to broach, but like I can also see how you got there. And you don't really have that anymore because I can't see how some people get there without coming to the basic conclusion and belief that, oh, no, your entire political modus operandi is to destroy my existence. And there's no getting around that. You really do just want me dead. And it's like, well, now that we've kind of come to that conclusion and we've reached that point, there is nothing more to say because all that you have to do at that point is walk away.
The events of the past year have kind of demonstrated that.
What else is there to say? Like, you just shot the most respectable dialogue-based guy on Earth. And you can call him controversial, you can say whatever you want, but like, he would have much more self-control than I do when it comes to talking about the issues. And he was, you know, he got shot for it. You know, it's like, so, okay, wow. The real truth of the matter is that there are fundamental differences, so much so that this will eventually lead to people getting shot or killed and things like that. And if you're not willing to address that, then like, what are we doing here? You know, it's like the scene from Breaking Bad when he tells Hank, guy, he made up his mind 10 minutes ago, you know, like I'm already dead, you know, like what are we doing here? And it's just like, yeah, like we've already come to that conclusion. Like there is not much more to say here. Like that guy has already made up his mind 10 minutes ago that he wanted to shoot me. And he believed it when he said, you know, punch a Nazi is good. And he's probably going to try his best to do it.
Yeah.
And like, it's really depressing because like, it's sad and depressing because like, I had a lot of people who I genuinely enjoyed talking to on the question of like of politics, or people who consider themselves like moderate Democrats or like left wingers. And it's like, you can't have that anymore because they do genuinely believe that Trump is so evil and awful that like if you voted for him, you really are an extension of like a genocidal impulse. And I'm like, I don't really have a genocidal impulse. I have an impulse for self-preservation and survival, which, I mean, if you want that to be a genocidal impulse, I really don't want it to be. But like self-preservation is a whole different story in comparison to, say,
well, they've said that there's no meaningful difference between the two.
Yeah. Self-preservation is, so it's like, there's no winning.
So again, anything you say is evil to them. So it's not, there's no point.
Yeah. At that point, you're like, so what are we doing?
Yeah.
Which is why, again, I find the concept of like, there is no ideology. Like this is just like a regular person online in memes. And it's like, no, do not blame the memes. Do not blame the technology. I mean, you can blame the technology to some extent, but you can't blame it entirely when there is an overarching social pressure and like this emotional patronage system that tells me I'm a good boy if I say like the correct thing, progressively speaking. And like we already know what that looks like. And so once it became abundantly clear that my opinion, or even advocating for like maybe we should raise, you know, maybe we shouldn't have like the whole like Coca-Cola thing was an interesting example. It's like maybe we shouldn't have you know, our EBT money and things like that, paying for like sugary drinks or whatnot. And then people look at you and it's like, well, why do you want the deaths of like black and brown bodies? Like, why are you such an evil person? And it's like, I'm not, but clearly I have crossed.
Kills more black and brown, like
yeah,
you know,
like come on,
more
man, like big pharma and soda
yeah.
companies and evil food people will kill more blacks than probably black people will this. Well, that's not true. We got to count abortion.
No,
I guess.
actually, no. The rate of diabetes among blacks.
Yeah, like the rate of diabetes is going to kill you more than any tax
crime
cut or defunded program has ever. The only way that like the federal government could like maximize, like try and beat the diabetes kill count would be like we're defunding dialysis.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like that would be the closest equivalent I can think of.
Well, I mean, I think like Trump has slashed programs he probably shouldn't have slashed, like the Meals on Wheels thing. I don't agree with that one.
I don't know how much cut to the USDA stuff he's actually done.
See, you can never tell because you see like people, like you see like libs tweeting stuff like Trump, like you know, Trump is executing puppies on the White House lawn, and it's like,
is he though?
Is that real, or is he really like defunding all of like Meals on Wheels? You can't really like, again, you can never.
But also like the other thing too is that like so many federal programs, like if the budget gets cut, like certain aspects of like state level funding is going to be reduced because they're dependent on federal grants. Like I get that, but also like the big important grants that no red state Republican would even want to cut, like CDBG or like the USDA after school food program.
Right.
Like, no way in hell is Trump going to do that, because that would be like, oh my gosh, Trump is literally taking Timmy's lunch and is giving himself 2 scoops of ice cream. Like, oh my God, like that would actually happen. So like there's a lot of like grant projects that are not gonna cut, but also like the USAID stuff, like no, we can cut like 99% of that, like we really can. Like I hate
it's not like giving food to poor people, it's like color revolutioning.
And I mean like, and what food...
enemies of the global transnational progressivism.
It's like, well, why are we funding some of this like crazy shit? It's like, why are we promoting atheism in like fucking Uzbekistan or something, you know? It's like, why are you literally being the enemy of Christ? So like, what are we doing here? And it begs more questions than I'm ever going to get answers for. It's really frustrating.
No, but I was gonna say, like, even today I was listening to Academic Agent. He had this stream where he was reviewing some like god awful piece of shit on GBN, some like O'Brien guy, and it's just like one of the worst like, you know, libs you could imagine. And there was a speech that Keir Starmer did recently.
Oh, because the progressives had their
convention or whatever.
Their convention.
And he's like, you are the enemy. If you're against mass migration, if you're against my government, if you're against what we've been doing to you, you are the enemy. We're going to persecute you. And I'm thinking like, and then I went to the GBN, I think it's GBN, whatever it's called.
GB News.
GB News. And I went to the YouTube of this O'Brien guy, and there were like, the comments were like filled with these boomer libs who are cheering it, and they still believe that like, I don't know, John Major is still in power, and they love it, and they're like, yeah, these people are racist and they're evil, and it's like, Keir Starmer's great. I'm like, are these people actually real? Because I don't know, maybe it's just because I have like, it's the same thing with my skepticism of Trump. It's like, I have this contrarian impulse, like whenever I see people, particularly when I see like cheering mainstream leftist like functionaries, like you know, libtards in Canada, they'll cheer Mark Carney, or people cheering Starmer. It's like, I don't know, man. Like I can understand if you were like a tanky cheering on Chairman Mao, or if you were like some left-wing radical cheering on like Hakeem Bey, or some transgressive thinker like David Harvey, or if you're like a fucking Che Guevara stan. Like, I think it's stupid, but there's like something that is more
that feels
authentic
more
there.
organic to it.
Exactly. It feels more authentic and organic. But like cheering a fucking mainstream hack functionary like Keir Starmer, to me, just like my skin crawls. It's like even like boomer conservatives in Canada that are like, "Wow, don't we miss Stephen Harper?" It's like, do you really miss Stephen Harper? I mean, yeah, he's better than Justin, he's better than Carney, but like, I don't know, something about it just like, maybe because I grew up in like the conspiracy movement stuff when I was younger.
Yeah.
And like I love that type of stuff, and I love the like contrarian nature of it, like I have the truth sort of deal. But something about like cheering on mainstream political figures is like, you realize they kind of all hate you to one degree or another. Maybe not like so much like, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like there's definitely people in the GOP that hate the average American. But like,
absolutely. Like that's
yeah, exactly. Your friend,
stating the obvious.
Yeah, like when Pierre Poilievre, like he had the Apple thing. It's like you're trying to meme this like very middle of the road. Like, I mean, he's saying better stuff now, but that's because he's no threat. You know, he lost. He's a fucking loser. And so, but when he like had the Apple, Pierre Poilievre, and he like they tried to make him cool, it's like
didn't work out very well.
No, this guy is not cool. Even compared to Trudeau, he's not cool. And it's like something about it's very like all those people, like, okay, in the context of the UK, like Starmer is a fucking maniac. And these people, and they fucking hate you. They absolutely, like all those people on that GB News comment section, they're like, yeah, these people are racist. Yeah, these people, fuck them. But they want to destroy what Britain is. They want to destroy you. They want to destroy themselves, evidently, as well. And they have they arrest anyone they want. They harass anybody they want with state resources. Well, you know, people, economically, in terms of their safety. We all know the issues. But they have the resources to harass ordinary people that tweet about mass immigration or whatever. And these deranged boomer libs, they fucking hate you.
Yeah, someone had that tweet about British judges where they're like, "Excuse me, sir, allow me to read your tweet, like criticizing ethnic rape gangs in Britain, like I'm at the Nuremberg trials." It's just like this is it, you know, like that's literally kind of how they're treating it. Is that national self-preservation, or even criticizing the literal rape of Britain? Like that's a step too far.
No, but these people that were in this
they cheered on
comment section, they are no, but they're they cheer on, but they're totally divorced from reality. They don't realize that they kind of do hold all the cards there, and a lot of it was because of the failure of the Tories, obviously. But it's just like it's such an insane situation. It's sad, and I think even like AA was at his limit, like listening to this fucking idiot like yammer on about it. And like, because Keir Starmer held back a little bit by calling Reform UK. He's like, I don't think Reform UK they're not that racist. But it's like, even that was too much for him. That's Keir Starmer. So it's Keir Starmer's jailing mainstream politicians and mainstream figures, like that Graham Linehan guy. It's like, that was too far. That, oh my God, Keir Starmer didn't actually call them evil racists. That we got to get more from them. You know, we have to get more from Keir Starmer. What fucking more can you get besides just lining up every single right-winger in the UK and redacting them? What more do you want? Or throwing them all in jail? It's like, it's insanity. It's insanity. And, you know, a lot of leaf libs here in Canada are the same way. You know, they live in a totally different reality. And because again, they have this underdog mindset. It's like they want to be like, we're like these oppressed fighters of truth and justice. And You know what I mean? It's
Well, if
just,
you're always the underdog, you can do no wrong.
exactly. And so
Like
that's why you
everything
can
is given
cheer.
as an ontological and metaphysical self-justification for
Exactly.
violence
Yeah.
against my enemies. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, like democracy has been for a long time now in America and pretty much every other place in the West too, especially as immigration continues to get worse, has just been nothing more but a soft civil war that we play out because we don't, until recently, I guess, we don't get to kill our enemies. We have to be respectful. We have to be polite. We have to da 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 da. Which, I mean, like, okay, I'm pretty much all for, because I really don't want to be like doing contact front and acting like a militiaman or something. It's not really on my like list of things I really want to do. It's not. However, like that those moments kind of like fundamentally change almost like right in front of your face, because it's like, well, now what? They're doing everything that they can to basically push you to either act that way or to put you in a situation where it's wanted. And like, I mean, we saw this during COVID, and I mean, like, people are like, well, how dare you forget? And I'm like, or how dare you like still focus on that? I'm like, I will focus on that. Like, why would I not
Yeah.
focus on everything that took place with the Summer of Love and the coup and everything else like that? Because what took place was the complete destruction of what you could even call norms in this country. Like, that died. There was a racial triage system in multiple U.S. states over who got access to monoclonal antibodies. That also existed in Dallas, Texas, where I got mine. And if I didn't have like a kidney transplant, my ass would have been grass. And that's absolute fucking insanity in comparison to like the other weird bullshit that we're pulling with now. And it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, and even Carl Benjamin had pointed this out today. He's just like, I guess what's her name, like Shabbat Mahmood or whatever, was just like, I'm English. And it's like, the fuck you aren't, like you can get Pakistani citizenship. What are you talking about? Like, no, you're
Funny,
not.
like Carl hasn't got a knock on the door for that.
I'm genuinely surprised that Carl
Yeah.
hasn't gotten a knock on the door, because like, and maybe he has and he hasn't talked about it, but like, I'm very surprised that the Lotus Eaters are even allowed to operate sometimes, because I'm like, how are you allowed to exist in this current landscape? Like, that's nuts to even think about, because so much of it is literally designed to even prevent the obvious from being said. Like, it literally is a war on noticing. And I don't mean that in like the usual like JQ people on Twitter way. I just literally mean that the fact is like, wow, it sure seems like every facet of government, conservative or otherwise, is like deliberately designed to facilitate ethnic replacement and to not do a damn thing when it comes to like the ethnic targeting of my people and my own country. Like, why is it that I see like American World War II veterans crying that their country doesn't feel like theirs anymore? Like, that's pretty strange. That's a little weird, don't you think?
There's still World War II veterans around.
Yeah, there still are, in very dwindling numbers.
Yeah.
But it's just like, hey, that's really weird. Why do they feel like they're a stranger in their own country, or this isn't the country they fought and died for? Like, that's very weird. And like, you're just left noticing and asking questions, and not even ones where it's like, I'm just asking questions, bro. Like, you don't have to be like a provocateur. It's like legitimate existential questions of like, well, why am I not allowed to live or exist? Like, that's a pretty damning indictment about where we are as a country. Apparently I'm not allowed to even do that, which is wild to think about. And it sort of just leaves you wondering, like, how much further does this go before things really get worse?
Not
And
that. Yeah. That's.
I think that's what everyone's
Yeah.
sort of waiting for in bated breath. And I feel like I made this title a week ago because Gio had to take a break due to some family issues. But like, it really does, it gets the noggin jogging, so to speak, because you have to kind of like wonder to yourself, okay, like, this is where we're at now. And what's the meaning in all of this? Like, what do we do with that? Like, that's an interesting position to be in, because I think everyone's kind of waiting for the next big move or the next strike or the next hit to come on board, which is terrifying because, like, okay, well, they killed Charlie Kirk. They've done other things. Like, what else are they going to do? Like,
Yeah.
that's a pretty interesting question. I don't know.
No,
like,
but again, like,
Go
I
ahead.
mean,
Go ahead.
I think the greater point is not like, the greater point is, I think, a lot of the failure of a lot of people that ostensibly are in positions of power rather claim to be positions of power that are on quote unquote the right. Like, I mean, look at the Tories in the UK, or like look at the lack of action even in America. Like it's sort of like, you know, it's very hard to really speak of these issues without like knowing that you don't really operate in the same normative political system. That even if Trump, for example, is in power, he still very much is not really what constitutes sort of like the transnational progressive elite. And there are a lot of people that are in places of power that will undermine any attempt to even just do the basic thing of like stopping people that will commit acts of left-wing political terrorism. And it's very there are a lot of people on the ground in these various cities that will stymie any attempt to weed out people that are planning very serious acts of violence. And if you can't even agree on that, it's, or if even, which is worse, if you have a lot of political elites that are not willing to do anything, then it's sort of like talking even about it in the abstract is not really, you know what I mean? Like it's yeah, it's, but then again, I mean, you never know. I mean, there could be things happening behind the scenes, and certainly, I mean, even just classifying them as terrorists is you know, a pretty good step forward. But and maybe certain other Western countries will follow suit, but it's very hard to like look at things like what's happening in the UK and not come to a black pilling conclusion. It's
And
just,
I'm trying really hard not to do that.
yeah,
but like it does beg so many questions in regards to like, well, where does what do you do? And I mean, like, and at the end of the day, like there are plenty of things that you can do. This is not a do not despair. This is not a like, oh wow, things are really bad. I mean, like, yeah, things are really fucking awful, but like at the same time, you have to like preeminently position yourself in a place of like, well, what can you do? Because I don't know what happens in 2028. Like, I don't know what they're going to do for that election, or what kind of weird kabuki theater color revolution shit's going to happen. I know they're talking about it. You know, our friends had posted about, like, Mike Shelby had posted about like some of the protest networks that had already been getting together, and the colors that they had picked were yellow and black, which is kind of funny considering the libertarians. But like, man, Theodore Judson, what a prophet, am I right? Oh, that's a whole other story. But the one thing I've told people times, I said this like the day after the election, even if you don't think Trump's going to do anything or whatever, fine. There's a lot of things that I'm sure he won't do, and there's a lot of things that he will do that we will like and dislike. He did buy you time. Things would be worse under Kamala Harris. Things would be accelerated. More or less all of Haiti would be living in the United States right now, eating your cat, eating your child.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
It's true.
I still can't believe that's real. Like that he actually said that. That was like gold.
I still can't believe
content.
Martin and all these other guys
yeah,
made that a thing. Like, it's kind of wild to think about.
He's eating the dogs. He's eating the cats.
Like, wow, what a strange time.
I love it when Schwab, he made the Harry Potter remix. He's like, you know, they ate half of Griffith.
So true.
They're eating the elves.
They were eating the elves. They were doing so much.
The elves are eating the owls. Yeah.
Eating the owls, eating the elves. Dobby got fucking eaten. Like, it's bad. You know, like, what else are you gonna do?
I wanted to mention this Norman Mailer essay. Let's switch gears to something else because
make your reference to it. But like, I just realized that we were almost at 3 hours.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say also the Mormon thing. Like, I originally thought it was another like hick lib or whatever.
No, it was. I don't
crazy.
know. It really did seem more personal than it was political. And then although the reaction on Twitter was particularly interesting because
that's what I was gonna say. Like, all these people, like, oh, fuck them, they're Mormons. Like, that's
it was
incredibly tone deaf. The response,
tone deaf. I would agree. Like, okay, even if it, like, say it was a politically motivated attack, like the left wing attack, like your average libtard does not discern the difference between Trinitarian Christians and then the strange cosmology of like the Mormon Church. Like they just don't. But also America has a very strange history with Mormons because of the Mormon Wars and things like that. So it's like I'm not. I mean, it is bad in the midst of a tragedy that like there was a lot of theological spurgery.
That's what I mean. I thought the theological spurgery was very callous and very.
It was not good.
Yeah.
Even though like I've engaged in said spurgery, but not on the internet. I've done it in person because I've had Mormons knock on my door and I've asked them questions. I find it fascinating and interesting, but I don't know enough to really say much on that issue. But yeah, I was like, oh wow, okay. But yeah, it was tragic to see that. And then I'm like, really? Like we just had this like really awful tragedy and we're gonna spurg out, which I mean is kind of par for the course. It's Twitter after all. But unfortunate as it was, I guess we need to just look into it more. But what was the Norman Mailer thing, Gio?
Oh, it was about he really like predicted the whole the whole well, but we are getting on 2 hours, so we'll save it for another time.
Do you want to just like read the essay next week?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a short essay. It's called From Surplus Value to Mass Media. And this is when he still was kind of like flirting with Marxism before he became like a base chud. But there's a bunch of other ones. I mean, of course, like the most famous or rather infamous essay, the how shall I say it for YouTube? The White by POC.
The white N-word?
Yeah, it's a great essay, though. It's an amazing essay. I mean, I said it in my Substack piece about what was it called? The narcissist, the psychopath, the lolcow. About the hipster, the cultural hipster, and the sort of like counterculture of the 60s and how that created conditions that you can almost feel nowadays, but in a much different way, though, because of the internet, because of the cultural movements that we have now, as opposed to in the 1960s. But a lot of what he was saying in that essay, maybe we could talk about it next week.
That's fine.
A lot of it, what he was saying in that essay about the sort of the very like the libidinal economy of the hipster mindset, like it's very relevant to nowadays in a different way, though. And I think in much different conditions than the social picture of America in the 1960s, 50s, and 60s. I mean, the American landscape, the North American landscape of the 2020s is obviously very, very different in a number of very fundamental ways. But what he was saying there was very applicable to nowadays, especially in the follow-up essay is this surplus of mass media one, which I think is like a better read on the motivations of mass media and the attention economy than anything these people in like the New Yorker or on Substack could write. It's a very, very great, very short essay.
We'll cover it next week. Happy to do that.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, this week we kind of didn't have a topic, so we sort of
we had no topic in mind at all. Like I was half tempted.
In the future, we sort of want to get away from yammering on about politics, but
it
just seems
I partially wanted to read the essay called it was in First Things, and it was called like Barry Weiss or Protestant Franco, which was like this really weird.
We can mention that, Nick. I'll read it. Yeah.
Well, it's behind their paywall, and I couldn't find a good paywall bypass for First Things, and I sure as hell wasn't gonna give them my money. But like, I was like,
wait, Barry Weiss wrote about the Protestant?
No. The article was literally called Barry Weiss or Protestant Franco. Is the title
I thought it was implying that Barry Weiss would be
no.
Protestant Franco.
I don't think Barry Weiss should ever be writing in a Catholic publication. Call me controversial. I just don't think Barry Weiss should be writing in.
I think she has written for some Catholic publication.
God, that's so depressing. Catholics, what are you doing? Chuds, what are you doing?
I don't know if is that our only two options.
No, I pray to God it's not.
Or a Protestant.
But I mean, that article is directly. I mean, it's addressing American conservative Catholics. I imagine there is probably more to it that I
don't really think you could have a Protestant Franco call me.
I think you can. I mean, or at least like, can we get like? I know a lot of people want like an American Cromwell or something. But even then,
maybe an
like,
American Cromwell, but like it's not. No, but what I mean is that the sort of like
the political things that gave away to Franco probably
the
are not
political
going to.
horizons of the
Well,
Catholic
maybe.
world as opposed
You
to
never
the
know.
Protestant world are fundamentally different. I mean, Catholicism always had a very different relationship to worldly political power than I think the ethos, especially of American Protestantism, that arose. I think people.
I'm gonna disagree just in part because if you read like the sermons during the Revolutionary War era, like the and also the reformers. Right. The reformers are not only reciting and reading scripture, but like there are numerous political and theological treatises on how to be a Christian leader that's not a Catholic. Like, yeah, I think it's important to maybe contextualize that because they sure as hell weren't just rebelling against like the Catholic Church. They were also
I don't think that was the main operation.
But like I think you are right that perhaps the Catholic understanding of like temporal power in relation to like the magisterium is probably vastly different than how Protestants might rule.
But maybe like because Franco's been memed because of his image, but like no one mentions like De Rivera,
the safe Christian alternative to Hitler, you know, like
but like the real architect was De Rivera, right? Like it was not who am I thinking of? There was Dolphus, there was there was not I'm trying to get his Primo de Rivera. He was like the real kind of like architect of that like Catholic fascist type of with Falange. And I think like he doesn't get nearly as much theoretical.
But with the power of friendship, you know, you can bring all these disparate groups together and make something happen.
Well, that's what I mean. Like the Spanish Civil War, there definitely was like a moment where, you know, people on the political right, they realized like, you know, it doesn't matter what our like stupid differences are. Like they're facing like a real threat.
Like the existential crisis outweighs the any potential theological differences, at least at the present moment. I mean, that's certainly true. And I mean, a lot of that will probably, same time, when things get bad enough here in America, that will definitely happen.
But like at the same time, like people use it as like the safe, edgy version of the Austrian painter. But it's like, I don't know, because like,
but it also implies that like we're going to be engaging in some kind of like soft, if not very outright open kinetic conflict with one another.
I don't think that's
which I don't know if that is happening or will. I think it'll be more of the same kind of political violence that we haven't seen.
I think people that proclaim that there will be a civil war are kind of grifters and they're not serious. I think that present conditions in the Western world, especially in America, you will have like probably more street violence. Like I wouldn't be shocked if you would even have like some of these like far right militia groups starting to gain prominence again if the leftist violence continues at a very steady pace. But like, I don't think there's going to be like this Tim Pool-esque civil war. I don't think things happen that way. Like there were very specific conditions that led to the Spanish Civil War in a way smaller country with way less variables than the current American experience has. And it's just like, I don't like, I think when people talk about the Civil War, they're kind of like, Scott Greer was kind of right. He's like, when people talk about the national divorce, it's like, what does that even look like?
It's very politically naive and at the very least historically illiterate. I mean, it's the same way, like I can't call like this the American Years of Lead. I think it's like a Days of Rage sequel, so to speak.
Right.
Because that was like radical left-wing paramilitary organizations that were not outright backed by the state, but were at the very least given cover. And had
by certain elite actors, yes.
And had certainly no problem.
I think targeting ICE will probably be a trend that continues.
Oh, of course. Like if you're an ICE agent, like I really do hope that you're given like the full backing and force of the American government in that regard. Like,
or you live in a community that's pretty conservative and
because it's just like, man, like if you, and also like there's the question of like the cartels as well. Like that's a whole other can of worms that hasn't really been discussed.
I wonder, like, you probably could, if you were like a smarter like cartel if you were like a real, higher
Well,
up, you probably could like.
but you do
utilize,
that, right?
yeah,
And then you invite the full force of the United States military.
if you were like funding Antifa or whatever, like
Or,
it's
well, I mean,
yeah.
like there are cartel guys that have like volunteered in Ukraine to learn how to like handle drones.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Like there is
there's all
shit
sorts
going
of
on.
terrorists that have been there. There
Yeah.
was even like ISIS members that went to
Like
Ukraine.
the war in Ukraine will fundamentally, like the way that is resolved is going to be it's going to be like Syria. It's going to be like any other cold civil war, or like not North Korea, but like, oh, now we have this like sketchy place where there's always like violence going on, and that's going to be a place where terrorists can like train and whatnot. Like,
it will be an even more messed up situation that there was after 2015.
Yeah,
in the Donbass. Yeah, there will
but
probably be.
Let's get to the supers
all right,
before we're almost at 3 hours, so we'll carry on.
Sneed supers right now.
Tim Stool, so true. So
Tim
true.
Stool. I always called him Tim Gruel. I thought that was clever, but that's even more
the cleverness is all abound. I'm going to start with the YouTube ones, no, I will go with the Entropy ones first, and then we'll go there. So the first one is Serbian Cat. He says, "Wish me luck. ICE hiring process is still a mess, but I just did my drug test for them today." Well, God bless you and protect you. So I hope that was true. Sam153. I think you might have sent this one twice. If you want me to refund you, I'm happy to do that. You sent the same super chat twice for the same amount of money. But he says. Sneed, a new Simpsons movie, ? Please let that lumbering putrid zombie die. It was once
I
my
said
good
this
friend.
on Twitter.
So there's a new Simpsons film coming out
in 2027. It
should be the finale of The Simpsons. Like,
no, they reviewed it till 2030.
Good God, let it die.
I know.
At that point, it'll be what, 50 years of The Simpsons?
Yes, or something like that.
Something close to it. Oh my God, let it die.
What can they do? Like, what can they do?
I don't know.
Like,
replace everyone with AI. Like,
maybe that could be. Yeah, there you go. That'll be it.
Good Lord. Carrying on. Charlie Mackey says, "Good evening. I hope you were both well." We are, sir. Thank you very much. Let's see. Sex Freakman sends $10. He says, "Not to blackpill, of course, but there's a type of guy we have who can't discuss negative circumstances with clarity. I can't relate to it, and it often feels like you have to tell me it's not as bad as it looks, or otherwise I will remigrate my brains under the ceiling, so I don't know how to address them." I don't know if you can either, actually, Sex Freakman. I don't have an answer to that one. I think that I have an article on this tomorrow coming out for the Old Glory Club, because, like, the thing that irks me is that I think we need to have better sober-headed analysis on these things. I don't think you can do it every week. I think you can only do it maybe once a month, or every 2 to 3 weeks, or once a month, or even once a quarter, to kind of gauge where things are and how bad they are.
Oh yeah.
Especially in this administration, because every day it's the plan trusters versus the black pillars versus the guys who would rather be dissidents than rather be right. Like, I find that to be kind of like a false dichotomy, but at the same time, I think that there is a certain crowd of people that are like, I don't want to know how bad the State of the Union is, because maybe I don't have the strength to carry on. And like, that's a legit concern. And I don't know how you communicate to them at all. I really don't.
Yeah.
Charlie Mackey sends $3 and he says, "Hey, screw, marry, kill female Supreme Court justices. How long has it been since you were asked one of these?" At least 30 episodes.
Yeah.
At least 30 episodes.
I like these questions. I love them. Yeah.
Of course you do.
Okay, lay it on me, Charlie Mackey. Lay it on us.
Lay it on us. So are we going to give our takes?
I guess we have to.
We were paid. Well, simple. Marry Amy Coney Barrett. I guess screw Sonia and kill Kentashi Brown Jackson. There's my FMK.
I don't know. That's a hard one.
I'm just gonna be that. Just going with that. I thought Crude was above FMKs. It's been like 30 episodes.
I'm gonna have a country. Okay, who are the three?
You have Kentashi Brown Jackson, Sonia Sotomayor, and Amy Coney Barrett.
Okay, let's look this up.
I'm going to let you look that up.
Sonia Sotomayor Young.
We're going with RPG. Those are the current Supreme Court justices.
Okay, I'm gonna have a contrarian take.
Here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna marry Sotomayor.
Okay.
I'm gonna probably give the skiff to Comey Barrett. No, I don't know, because then that'd be like too obvious. Okay,
you know.
probably I would redact Comey Barrett. I'd give the skiff to Kentanji Brown, and then I'd marry Sotomayor. There you go.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I don't know what I. That's
Does this mean
one.
I can start giving you money again? I guess you can.
That's
wrong. Wrong 3.
Wrong 3.
Did I screw it? No, he says female Supreme Court justices. Okay, like if you want to extend it to the ones that are dead, that's like what? Justice Ginsburg, and what was the first Supreme Court? Sandra Day O'Connor. Like, yeah. No. And he said female. I read the chats. I read them. I'm literate. I have media literacy.
I would probably marry Comey Barrett. Let's be real. I just wanted to be contrarian to, like, you know. I don't know. Maybe Sotomayor. I don't know. I mean,
I'll let chat have fun with that. I'm now going to go to our YouTube chats, and we'll go from here.
Actually, Ginsburg was the only option.
So true. So true. O'Connor wasn't so bad. I guess.
Yeah, she wasn't so bad.
I guess. So I have a new channel member, traditional Catholic Sedevantist monarchist. Well, there you go. If you wanted to know who we bring on here, thank you for your channel membership. So you can see
it's so much easier when you do female politicians, because a lot of them are hot.
Well, they're hot for ugly people. But thank you for the channel memberships. You get to see videos early as well as see all the gaming streams.
What was that name? Sedevacantist Tradcast?
Yeah, Tradcast Sedevacantist monarchist. Thank you for the channel membership.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Oh, how deliciously 2017. I love that.
I love it. Next, you'll send me an Adrian Vermeule article. But no, thank you for your financial contribution. You make the show go round. Bolero393 says Murdoch just had another depiction of the Justin Trudeau being buck broken. The type of art creates itself. Yeah, I guess so.
They did?
I think they did. Justin Trudeau was around in 2015, so I mean, like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, there you go.
I guess I'm gonna have to go rewatch Murdoch again for like the 3rd time. Not a problem for me. Marbly says, quick schizo post: is universal surveillance and content consumption influencing reality through observation? Quantum wave function collapse at scale. Is magic returning because of digital witness? Magic never really went away, Marbly.
Yeah,
and also like
Deepak Chopra was kind of correct in that, about the double slit experiment and cosmic waves.
Well, I mean, the double slit experiment, I think, is the weak anthropomorphic principle that the universe only exists when
right,
we consciously observe it. I think to me
that
just
makes
like
a new age woo thing.
Oh, well, for me, that's just proof for the existence of God. But I think like universal surveillance and content consumption and data mining certainly influences reality by what we cultivate as our sense of reality. Our schemas, as pseudo as they may be, certainly influence the world around us. Like hyperstition's real.
No, I think it was ZHP that said that a lot of technologies, he talks about this in that one short story as key performance indicators, where a lot of it will create a passive sense of schizoaffective disorder. Like people will become more, like it will be like a genuine sort of like Deleuzian schizo culture, but only like within a surveillance apparatus where if the environment can then in a sort of like AI animatronic way talk back to you all the time through a virtual interface, is that not kind of like a sort of schizoaffective reality? That's why like a lot of ancient cultures, they would, I mean, I think it's like a very materialist argument to be like, oh, like everybody who was a prophet or a shaman, they just had schizophrenia. But there was something about, even like Terence McKenna had that talk. It was called Schizophrenic or Shamanistic. There was very integral connection between that ability and what would later be classified as a form of psychomedical pathology. And there is like something to it where, just think about it for a moment, in an environment where you're constantly surveilled and you're constantly aware of the psychic pollution of others and the consciousness of others, then it kind of is sort of like you are like imbibing in a new sphere every single time you go out in public or you venture onto the internet. and there is like a sort of a reverberation within our consciousness that we didn't really evolve to handle, or we weren't really created to handle. And, except for very few people with intense spiritual
Oh man, we're
insight.
certainly not. We're not prepared to even do the technological equivalent of what we have.
Right, exactly. So more to come.
Yeah, more of this to come. The next one is from Randall Shirker. He says, "Don't forget the Weathermen are walking free and can still get tenured professor positions. The right has nothing close to that level of patronage." Yeah, absolutely right.
No, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I agree wholehearteily.
yeah.
Seasider says, "Opie and Anthony party rock." I agree.
Yeah,
Good times were had.
They used to like walk between studios, and people would like talk to him in the studio. They like got a homeless guy on one time or a few times. Yeah.
He says Patrice shared some funny stories on Opie and Anthony when he used to write for WWE.
Yeah, that was a great one. That was a great episode. I saw that one. That was crazy. Yeah,
that is true. Yeah. Wingman 45 says, "Watch Hesketh's speech this week. Hazing is back." Yeah, it was very much a kind of like troll to the generals and admirals that were there.
I don't know about Hegseth, to be honest.
I don't really have anything bad to say about him.
Nah, but he's kind of
the Department of War has not disappointed me so far. Although there's a lot of problems with the War Department that need to be addressed, and I don't know if he'll do it. Wingman 45 again says, "Inshallah, we'll have our Demon Hunters spiritual / cultural review, brothers." Yes, I am reviewing. I need to Capitalissimo, and I will be recording hopefully this week on the film. You already saw it live when we watched it on Drive Time Movie Night.
Oh, tomorrow I'm on Drive Time Movie Hour. Good
for What are you watching? Do you know?
Big Money Rustlers.
Let's go. Please, someone send Gio $100 next week so he can get a Quan Mills novel review.
Yes, that would be great.
Get Charles Colum to rep the R Guy Catholics. Is that the historian guy that?
Can we get Charles Columbi? That would be incredible.
That'd be interesting. I mean, I'm not not opposed. That'd be a fun time. Yeah. Brad P says, "Don't look for trouble, but protect yourselves and your people by a gun and train with it." Yeah, I will always advocate for self-defense, and if you can get your concealed carry license, you should. I do, and I carry everywhere, church and when I'm out driving. Not looking for trouble, but I would rather have it than be dead. So yeah, I
what
agree
do they say? Have it and not need it, then need it and not have it.
Exactly. And then Big Ben just says for $10, Geonosis, which is both a fun Star Wars pun for like Geonosis, but that's a good one. I appreciate it. You watched it live and didn't tell me. Wingman 45, please pursue to utilize the community posts on the YouTube channel, and you will see that there is a link to a Rumble channel where I watched it live with Mike of Pole and Capitalissimo. So there you go. You can have a very good. Oh, he's a Leaf. Okay, well there you go.
Oh man.
If Colum seems to be down, that's totally fine with me. That's true. Hot take, but I find it really lame that so much schizo posting of some variation of magic was actually a function of this mundane phenomenon all along. I don't think that it's.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, to some extent, but like. I think that what we call magic kind of gets covered in woo-woo mysticism when the actual magic, and I don't mean that with like a K, but I just mean like a phenomenon in which we can interact with the world that may appear to be supernatural tends to get overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
They call me Mellow Gio. That's right. So true, Vulpes. So true. Let me refresh entropy real quick, and then I think we'll be able to call it.
Wasn't it a drink, Mellow Yellow?
Mellow Yellow. I feel like it was at one point in time.
I know it's like a metaphor for piss, but like, wasn't that a drink? Or am I going crazy?
Yeah, Mellow Yellow was a drink. It was. It literally.
Whatever happened to that? I remember Sob. That was good.
Is it still around?
No, they discontinued it. They discontinued it.
They discontinued it? No, it's not.
They still have.
It says
Sob?
It's still around.
That's incredible.
Marketing top. It is still available in limited markets.
My God, I would give anything to have one.
It's still around.
Yeah, but they don't have the glass
Yellow
bottles
is still
anymore.
around since 1979.
Holy crap!
Owned by the Coca-Cola Company. Okay, no, they're still around. Okay.
Those like I found in a grocery store. They still had Jones.
No,
I remember like they used to have that. Do you remember Jones?
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
They used to have like Starbucks, and I remember like it's like really the most like boomer hippie slop ever, but it's like I just bought one for nostalgia's sake, and the cap, you know, they always had the messages.
Yeah.
The bottle cap said, "Let it be," the fucking the Beatles song.
So true.
I'm like, oh my god.
I remember Snapple. Remember Snapple facts?
Oh yeah, they still got Snapple. They still have messages or whatever it was. Or
Snapple facts. There's little trivia things.
yeah, Snapple facts. It was like 100 or something different.
They used to have Snapple. Also used to do glass bottles, and now they do the shitty gay looking glass plasticky looking ones. I really hate that.
Yeah.
Remember Sobe?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, they discontinued Sobe.
Yeah, Sobe's been gone for a while. I won't bring that back.
That's terrible.
Gio will never use the Chud Pepe I made for him.
Which one did you make for me?
There you go. Snapple taking me back.
I have so many of them.
You got to snap back. They took away our lizard milk. So true. If you don't touch the biracial subplot, I'll be sad. I have a lot of things. I mean, I made a lot of shitty jokes, but I did take notes. Is
K-pop Demon Hunters the one with that obnoxious girl with the huge dick like tofu roll or whatever it was?
No, it is literally a K-pop girl band fighting demons, and one of them is clearly half demon, and it's the question of identity. And
so like Blade religion. Is like half vampire.
Yeah, think of it like that.
Okay.
There were no more bottles to conquer, and I'm the masculine urge to drink a limited availability soft drink. Man, speaking of limited availability drinks, did I mention this last episode? No, we didn't, because we postponed it. I had a pumpkin spice latte for the first time last week, and
they're pretty good.
White Girls, I was unfamiliar with your game, so I kneel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Zima. I remember Zima's.
I think it was a little before my time.
I think like New Japan Pro Wrestling was promoting Zima. It's like the clear alcohol thing. Yeah.
K-pop. I literally made this joke. They look like Grubhub people.
They do. No, so it's the one. It's like that the thing about like the obnoxiously huge sushi roll that she's like eating or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Turns out white people know some things. So true, Brad P. Sorry, white ladies. I was unfamiliar with your game. We didn't know, like, honestly, the hatred of like 2010s, like white women with, I think we did mention this the last episode with like the Uggs and the things and stuff like that. Like, we had it so good.
Oh, I literally had a
we should be posting like that's the next like right wing Twitter fad should be people posting the girls in Uggs and holding their pumpkin spice lattes and the just girly things Tumblr, and it should be given with like a right wing spin where it's like, this is what they took from you.
We already have that. It's called Mytho American.
No, because it feels like just Mytho America feels distinctly out of place. Mytho America is not going to cover the late 2000s, early 2010s white girl.
No, there was that famous Mytho American post that blew up with the white girls in Uggs.
This is what they took from you.
Yeah, and people were saying that in the chat, in the replies. This is what they took from you. I had a Prime the other day. I finally had a Prime. I'm
not touching that one though.
Yeah, it was all right. It was like nothing to write home about, but I mean, I do like how they use like coconut milk or water or whatever. But it was all right. I mean, maybe I should get a different flavor than the Bottle Rocket one, where it's called the 4th of July.
Adderall affirmations. I am a robot. I am a machine. I am a computer. No task is boring. All tasks are pleasurable. I can do no wrong.
I like that meme, like all computers should shut up.
So
you know that one?
I'm a big fan.
That was a great. It's like, your demonic voice can never hear my perfect angelic ears or whatever. You know that one where it's like, you will only speak when I spoke to you, and I will never speak to you, a demonic computer. Anyways,
well,
what do we got going this week?
Well, I had this going on this week. I probably, and I'll upload it to YouTube. I'll have the my appearance on Restoring Order, whatever he puts out as the free version. I'll put that up on YouTube as well because he said I could. I have an article coming out with the Old Glory Club tomorrow. I'm also recording with our friend Last Things this Thursday for the Last Things.
Oh, I
Last
still gotta
Film
get back
Picture.
to him. What are you reviewing?
I am reviewing Perfect Days. So I think this is the second time I'm reviewing a Japanese film with
Oh wow.
Last. I think it's a good film, so it's a good time. So yeah, I've got that going on, and then I'm gonna have.
I'm gonna review The Beautiful Troublemaker, a French film with him.
There you go.
It's 4 hours of painting.
And then I'm gonna put on. I'll put the King of the Hill rant up on YouTube later, probably next week. Just
I have yeah. What about King of the Hill? You finally gonna do that?
No, I found time to do it. I just need to record. I just need to put the rant on YouTube. So I'll do it sometime, probably next week when I've got a pause in content when I'm not hosting DA.
Yeah. Bobby, what is a cuckold?
I fucking called that too. Oh my god! Like when they put out the post or the article saying like Connie is ethnically non-monogamous, I literally walked out from my bedroom. I like showed my roommate the article and I was like, "They're gonna make Bobby a cuck," and he was like, "Oh no, they're gonna make Bobby a cuck," and I was like, "They made Bob," and then I watched the whole thing in more or less one sitting over the weekend, and I was like, "Holy shit, they made Bobby a cuck."
That was like the best clickbait by Spum Donor, Cuck of the Woke. That was like the best. Yeah, that was a great one.
Bobby is a cuck.
Cuck of the Woke. That was.
I don't have any good dire content, but I wish someone would cover the Scum Manifesto. Yikes!
I wanted to do that. You said no.
No, because you and I had a whole idea to cover like a whole series of Manifesto.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah, maybe. You know, it's really funny because
we could do like Kyle Autumn. We could do like the recent.
I have Elliot Rogers.
Yeah. Did you read
from
the
Apostate Gallery? I think I've told the story before, but like I don't hide my spicy books on my bookshelf. I just don't. Because like, what are you gonna do? Like, get scared? Sorry, hoes. Like, I don't care.
That is like the most host-scaring book, My Twisted World.
No, and you know why it's the most one? Because like I have it up there next. Like I kind of have things generally organized by like category and things like that. And one time I had My Twisted World, and I think it was a couple of copies of like Death to the World magazine, and then I also was. What else was I reading at the time? It was Elaine Bido's Metapolitics, and so like I had like 3 different things on my desk one time, and my mother. This was like a year or 2 ago. My mother was just like, I'm a little worried about what you're reading, and I'm thinking to myself, I have like some spicy literature on my shelf. From Cordrianu to Yaki to Schmidt, and so I'm thinking to myself, what is my mother concerned about? And she goes, "What is this?" And she points to the Roger book, and I'm like, "This is an autoethnographic piece of performance art," is what I described that to my mother. And she was like, "Oh, okay, can I read My Twisted World with a tote bag and a matcha on the subway?" Yeah, Chris Matthew, you can do whatever you want. The Fed Post Office of the Digital Archipelago. I think that's what I'm going to call our PO box when we finally have a. And no, it's not a no. It's just we maybe
have to plan it out.
We would have to plan that out.
It's actually quite a good read though, Scum Manifesto.
I knew you would say that.
Yeah. Oh man, Christopher. Elliot Rogers, Chris Dorner, Marinetti.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Did Dorner put out a manifesto or no?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know. Don't quote me on it.
I don't know either. Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of right there? That reminds me of when Gore Vidal had that Internet Blood Sports with Norman Mailer on Dick Cavett, the Dick Cavett show, and he goes Henry Miller, Norman Mailer, and Charles Manson. Like this violence against women, this ultra misogyny. It's like Elliot Rodger, Chris Dorner, Marinetti. It's like I could just imagine like Gore Vidal would make this like spicy.
I'm gonna go put this up on screen, and this is gonna be like the last thing I'm showing for the air tonight.
Before I start, I have a few things to shill.
share screen. Yeah, go ahead and shill. But this.
All right, tomorrow I'm going to be on not Real Secret Coffee Hours, on Drive Time Movie Hour. What the fuck is this?
This is from the President of the United States of America. I guess he had won a settlement.
Oh, he
with
won
YouTube.
His lawsuit against YouTube.
Yeah. So there's this looks almost like a Mr. Beast thumbnail. Oh my
Jeez,
god.
we're going up against fucking the good old boys.
Oh well, we're doing okay numbers wise.
Yeah, we're doing okay relatively. Yeah,
we're doing fine. I just wish we had their Patreon dollars. Holy shit.
Oh my god, yeah. But no, tomorrow we're doing Drive Time Movie Hour. We're gonna review the Juggalo film Big Money Rustlers and probably something else. And because there's always a double feature. And then on Thursday will be part 2 of my interview with Shane Swanson. And it's gonna be good. And then next week, I'll probably have a solo content minded. And then the week after that, I'll probably have the Kino Corner interview. I don't know like what happened today. Fucking StreamYard, I pressed pause when we went to get water and deleted the first half. But thank God I have an OBS backup on all of my interviews. So even though the audio might not be that great, but it's like still, thank God. So yeah, that's my itinerary. And people said I should go back to doing like shorter videos. I definitely want to have more of a content pipeline with shorts and like shorter videos from like the 20 to 40 minute range on a specific topic. Because
I'm determined to bring back the video essay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not video essay, but definitely like specific topic on,
Well, I'm gonna try and bring it back. It makes me no money. I just like doing them.
Yeah.
I also need to finish doing my reviews of the Venture Brothers because, as I had said in those in that show, I said, "You don't like what I'm doing? Well, screw you. This isn't for you. This is for me and my friends to talk about a TV show I liked."
That's like, oh yeah, I have this interview I did with Parker Longbaugh on found footage films, and so I don't know if like people would really be interested in that, but like I've been on this found footage binge lately.
I like found footage movies.
Yeah, I've been like raiding the Tubi archive of everything. And
if it ain't on Tubi, it don't exist for Gio.
I've watched every single VHS film. You know the VHS series? Yeah. Like I've watched every one of them. Apparently, like a new one's gonna come out this October, or Halloween or whatever.
I'm stoked. It's gonna be so bad.
Yeah. We have another super chat before we go.
All right, let's go read our last super chat. Politely asking for a redo of the Ben-Hur review. Yeah, you
have to do the last part of that.
Well, we have like the last third. I have all those videos saved. I need to put that up as a patron exclusive. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll put those up. I'll go make that happen. I can do that. Prude is gonna add in the millennial pause in his reviews. God, I hope not. The meme about I sentence you to like a 45-minute left-wing video essay from a millennial with a mustache. If that happens to me, you have every right to kill me. Like, just you can do that. You can make sure I Bud Dwyer live on air. Like, it's totally fine. If I turn into one of those like, let's talk about Frasier for 5 hours and like the like subtle classism and white supremacy. Like, nope, I think you can just shoot me. Like, that's totally okay.
Didn't Quentin Reviews put out a 20-hour video on the Beverly Hillbillies?
Did he?
And then like people thought it was a troll, but they're like, no, actually, he's actually talking about the Beverly Hillbillies for 20 hours.
I mean, this is also a guy that like out of nowhere in one of his reviews, he's like, I just really fucking hate Trump. And it's just like, yeah, buddy, we could tell by looking at you. It's okay.
The problem with iCarly, a girl
like that. See, like I wish I lived in such a world where I didn't give a shit about things, where I could talk about like Drake and Josh or iCarly and get like 48,000 views, or like the people who do comic book explanations for things. Like I've been
there was only one good YouTuber that did like cape shit and comic book
But
reviews.
like,
that was Hollywood God, and that was it.
That's true. That's true.
Hollywood
but
God.
like there's a guy
Otherwise,
right
no.
now. I think his YouTube channel is called Unwritten Stories, and he's been covering comics that I like, and I'm like, ah, damn it, like don't ruin this for me. But like, no, he's just been doing like summaries of like the 68 comics, which is really good. And so I'm like, this isn't so bad. But then I'm like brutally reminded.
Does everyone know in the chat about Hollywood God? Does anyone follow? Like, his PvP like basically did like a 5-hour documentary on him, and
most people don't. I don't think
Hollywood God is like, well, he was like one of these first wave of like comic book movie like cape shit reviewers, and he then started to try. He started to like he wanted to start his own alien based religion. And then he went like schizo on like the Masons and other conspiracies. And just look up, type in the chat, Hollywood God PPP. You'll find the documentary. It's really quality. And then he started like beefing with this other like this like creepy Puerto Rican guy called Movie Review Express, who used to pretend to be an indie film director so then he could like hire 5 actresses to do kissing scenes with. I'm not joking. They used to like beef with each other over the fucking Batman 89 or whatever it was called, or like whether Christopher Nolan or James Gunn or who's the other director that
I don't know, Gio, but I'm a little enough with the cape shit.
All right.
Let's just go in the episode.
People devote their whole lives to this shit.
Yeah, and they make more money than we do doing that shit. You know, you ever thought that we're in the wrong line of fucking business?
I could never be able to like sell myself to that degree of like talking about like the worst pop culture slop, like a 40-plus-year-old man talking about
what, you don't want to be movie Bob?
You
don't want to be movie Bob?
No, I don't. If I were to be in movie Bob, it would be like, you know, pure auteur cinema. It wouldn't be fucking like.
You don't want to write a book about how Super Mario like changed your life?
Was your Vietnam? Yeah.
Was your Vietnam? Yeah. Like, are you sure?
Console wars in the 80s, man.
Like, I feel like for a certain demo, like you can make a fuck ton of money that way.
Oh yeah.
And like, and if you're monetized, even if you get a video that does like, I don't know, 48,000 views, way better than any video I've ever done. And it's like,
100%.
And I mean, like, I've had what I felt like were pretty good payouts for what I do, but I'm thinking to myself, damn, like I'm in the wrong line of business. And I've always thought about like, maybe I should, like, if I ever quit, like this is the way I do it. I just make an alt channel and then you'll just hear me and my god awful voice talking about Larry Niven novels.
Yeah, you have to be like Jenny Nichols and talk about like young.
Yeah, I want to do it for my bedroom too. Yeah, let me just go quickly kill myself. Oh my god. All right. Well, we will be back next week. We will be talking about Norman Mailer and God knows what else. To everyone who has donated, thank you for doing so and making this worthwhile. Your contributions and your viewership are the reason why Gio and I do this in the first place. So, again, your contributions via patreon.com/giantartproductions and subscribestar.com/theprudentialist makes this all worthwhile. Your continued long-term financial contribution allows us to do this with a little bit of security with whatever we decide to do in the future. Be sure to find out Gio on his channel. His links are down below in the description. His interview with our good friend Shane Swenson, the iconographer, is fantastic. Highly recommend it. And we will be live next week.
God bless. Goodbye. Too sweet.
See you, gents.